What is going on, everybody? It is Gis, and I'm finally here with the Budget Colosseum guide. This has taken me quite a while to put together. I've taken a lot of notes. I probably crammed like 200 to 300 Colosseum waves to make sure I could run into every single situation that you might run into, and make sure I had the gear correct and the inventory and everything in between to make sure you have the easiest time going for your first quiver, because I know it can be a little bit daunting. But a lot of people want it, and it's a good time to get it because the Maggot King is coming out with the Seeker Arrows and the Necklace of Anguish upgrade, just period. So range is going to be really good. You're going to want to do this if you want to farm Doom, because the Quiver is a great upgrade at Doom since you use Scobo and T-Bow there. Quick disclaimer, you should be maxed. Like, absolutely you should be maxed. There's no reason to not be maxed doing your first Colosseum clear, your first Inferno clear, anything like that. There's no reason to not be maxed. Obviously, if you've done it before, 1, you don't need this guide. 2, you can do it whenever. You know your skill level. Prayer level is like the only debatable thing. 70 plus. Like, you want piety. That's pretty much it. You just want piety. So if you have 70, you could probably do it. It's just you're going to be a little more flicky. But I tried my best to not be too flicky in all of my runs, and I didn't really run out of prayer once I had the inventory situated. So let us get into it. The gear options. I'm going to put up on screen here some gear options for you. We're going to talk about everything that you can do, Iron Man friendly and whatnot. My basic gear setup was full Guthans, a Tentacle Whip, and a Bofa, loosely. You can use any magic weapon that you have, realistically. Ideally, you want to be on the Arceus spellbook, so even if you don't have a powered staff, which you should, you absolutely should have a powered staff, but even if you don't, you could technically cast, like, the Undead Grasp or whatever it is at the Berserker with, like, a regular old Aram staff or something like that. Do I recommend that? No. You should bring a power staff. You should click it. You should click the guy with a powered staff. That's what you should do. 87 Slayer for the Trident of the Seas. I know it's kind of annoying. If you have a Warp Scepter, I don't know if it two-shots. That's all you want, realistically, is to two-shot the melee Fremenic. Another thing you can bring for the ranged Fremenic, if you do not have a Saradomin Godsword, you can bring a Dragon Dagger, and you can spec the ranged Fremenic to one-shot it. I really recommend you get an SGS, but if you don't have one, a Blood Fury and the Guthan Spear should be enough healing, but an SGS is really, really nice at the beginning of the wave. 1, to one-shot the Ranger, and 2, to heal you up both HP and Prayer, because you get a guaranteed max hit on that Ranger. Now, for the Major, I bring an Atlatl. You can bring, like, you could just use the Bofa if you want, but Atlatl saves you 2 ticks. Like, it's not that big of a deal, but it's a consideration. You could use a Hunter Sunlight Crossbow. You could use a Blowpipe if you want extra healing. If you don't have SGS or Blood Fury, you could bring a Blowpipe and just spec the Mage Fremenic for your healing. Find a system that works for you, right? This is the system that I found that works for me, that seems pretty simple, that I think many people could start with and be totally fine. Just think about what options you have. It realistically comes down to getting the Fremenies. The Fremenies? I mean, I guess they're Fremenic enemies. The Frenemies. Get the Frenemies dead as quickly as you can. That's the goal. I don't really care how you do it. Just make sure you do it in the least amount of time possible, and it's going to matter. It's going to matter a lot. I do have Echo Boots on. If you're an Iron Man, you can't use these because, well, I mean, I guess you could farm these out first before your Quiver, but that seems kind of weird to me. So if you don't have Echo Boots, no big deal. You could use Holy Sandals, D Boots, Mixed Hide Boots. I don't really care what you use. Just put some in the boot slot. You'll be good to go. It's not that big of a deal. Probably prefer tank stats. That was like the whole goal here. I also, by the end of it, ended up switching to a Dragon Defender swap. So at the beginning of the wave, we'll put on the DFS to have maximum tank stats, and then we'll switch over to the Dragon Defender once the wave is solved, and we need the accuracy so we can get things dead a little bit quicker. That's all that's there for. No big deal. Now, as far as the rest of the inventory, I went with 3 brews. Seems a little bit low, I know. But the only way you die in Colosseum, genuinely, most of the time, it's 2 reasons. Either A, you messed up. It happens. You were flicking totally fine, and then your brain turned off, you forgot to flick a Manticore, and you exploded. The other way is simply, you just get one shot. So it's like sort of the same thing, right? Like, you messed up, and then you get one shot. Or you just get one shot. You're not really going to get, like, chipped out where a brew is going to save you. The damage is too high in Colosseum to just like click yellow and hope you get through it. It's not really gonna happen. So I went with 3 brews. I think I drank 3 doses tops on all of the soul runs. So you have 2 brews for soul, and that's kind of all you need, because if you go through 2 brews at soul, you're probably dead. So I went ahead and dropped, I think I started with 6 brew, dropped 3 of them to get 3 more prayer potions. It's easier on the mind. You can just camp your prayer. It's not a big deal. We have the 1 prayer regen, because since we're in budget gear, it's going to take a long time, and you can actually bring the prayer regen and get full value out of it. We don't bring a range potion because we only bring the range switch to solve some sticky situations. It's not required that you bring a range switch at all, so if you don't have one, you can just switch it out for some more brews or restores. But I think personally, I would recommend you bring a range switch for your first Colosseum clear, because it's just going to give you peace of mind. It's going to give you the easy option to kill some bad spawns, switch it to the bow for really quick, shoot the thing, then you'll be good to go. You don't need a range potion for this. You don't care how fast you do it. It's usually, the wave is like solved in quotes, but you don't want to rotate to the other side of the pillar, so you kill the guy that's farther away from the pillar on the stack that you were already solving. That'll make sense in a little bit. The Guthan Spear does come up quite a bit, to be honest. I think I at least used it once or twice every single run, so it comes up often enough to warrant the inventory slot, and it's probably, realistically, it's an additional brew and a half, maybe 2 brews over the course of a quiver run, but I still think it's worth bringing and giving a shot if you have it. If you're an Iron Man and you don't have it and you don't feel like grinding barrows, I get it. It's not a big deal. It's just something that's nice to have. So in that case, you wouldn't have to necessarily bring the full Guthans, because it's not the tankiest of the Darox sets. You could bring Torags or Darox or Justy. I don't care what you bring for tank. Like, dude, ideally, you just want to bring some tank gear because you're going to tank. Like, it's just going to happen. You might as well be tanky, get some range hits that you don't care about so you can rotate pillars, whatever. Obviously, strength bonus is good. If you're confident in your flicks and whatever else, you can go ahead and bring your Bandos and skip the Guthans altogether. But I do think the additional healing is worth considering. You can take your time. It's not a big deal. I think that's about it for gear. So, let's get into the actual gameplay, like the basics. What are we doing? What are we doing in the Colosseum? We're killing guys. It's 12 waves. Every wave is going to spawn Fremmies that charge at you. And before every wave, you're going to select an invocation. So upon selecting your invocation, the wave will start. And on the 5th tick, after you select your invocation and start the wave, you will move behind the pillar so that the mobs spawn in an ideal location, and you can make your way behind the pillar without taking too much damage. We're going to be using something called the Visual Metronome plugin, and we're going to set it to a 5-tick cycle. All you have to do at the beginning of the wave is after you select your invitation, after you select your invocation and click begin to go to the next wave, you're going to look at the tick counter above your head, and it's going to say a number. When you see that number again, the next cycle, you are going to move behind the pillar and get ready to solve. Most of the time, it's going to go something like this. Select invocation. Say we're on tick 3. We're going to wait to see tick 3. We're going to click behind the pillar on tick 3. We're going to try to get a shot off at the Fremmies Berserker. I recommend you tag only the Fremmies Berserker. Do not tag the Archer and the Seer. Tag only the Fremmies Berserker so you know where he is going at all times. You're going to try to get a shot off on him. If you don't feel safe doing that, like you're going to tank some stuff off prayer, just go ahead and wait behind the pillar, let him come around to you, kill the Berserker first, then it's up to you how you want to do this from here. Again, make your system, but how I did it, I would SGS spec the Ranger, and then I would throw on the Atlatl the Major a couple times, and then get to solving the wave the rest of the way. That's it. That's the beginning of the wave. That's the bulk of what's going to be happening, okay? At 40 seconds is when you have to start thinking again. Probably somewhere in like the 35-second range, 30-second range. What are you doing when the reinforcements spawn, okay? They will always spawn at 40 seconds. This is just how it is. You can skip this. If you do the wave faster than 40 seconds, you will do a skip. You will not have any reinforcements, the wave will be quicker, and you get to move on a little bit faster. great. Probably not going to happen in our setup. On wave 1, it probably will. Sometimes on wave 2 if you're going crazy. And then after that, probably not. Things are a little bit too tanky. You're always going to have to deal with reinforcements. There's a couple of ways to deal with reinforcements. Depending on your pillar, you're going to be looking for mage block once the major spawns. But it's not going to be there every single time. The waves are different. Here's a chart of the waves and the reinforcements that spawn with them. As you can see, the major isn't always there. At wave 7, it becomes a Minotaur for 3 waves, and then 10 and 11, it will spawn the major again. So it's not always there, but you do need to keep in mind, and you'll have the Colosseum plugin. It'll tell you what the reinforcements are in orange. It'll say melee or melee mage, and then Minotaur, mage, shaman, whatever it says. It'll tell you it's not that big of a deal. Most of the time, what I like to do is if 40 seconds is approaching, I'm going to be like, okay, do I need to mage block? Regardless of which pillar I am. Do I need to mage block? Can I mage block? Am I tanking if I mage block? How many hits can I tank to mage block? Is it worth mage blocking? Usually the answer is yes, you're going to tank 1 hit. You should do it. You have time. Do your best. Sometimes you can slot them into an off tick, and it's not that big of a deal. You're going to want to mage block as much as you possibly can. And for the melee guys, both the Minotaur and the Jaguar, you're going to want to build the wall. Okay, you're going to want to build the wall. So there'll be a stack on the other side of the pillar. If there's not a stack on the other side of the pillar to build the wall, it doesn't really matter. The pillar is now your wall. But you want to build a wall on the other side of the pillar to let the meleeers come down the side and safe spot themselves. If you don't do this, they'll go into the stack behind the pillar, and you'll have to drag them out or do some other solve that you see fit to get the meleeer out of the stack, or you could just ignore it and just let it be behind that. But if it's a Minotaur, this is mostly for the Minotaur, because if the Minotaur is behind the stack, it's going to be healing anything that you are attacking. And we'll talk about the Minotaur in a minute here. That's pretty much the basics, though. It's pick your invocation, look for the next tick that is in your cycle. That was the number. When you clicked begin, I click begin, it says tick 3. I'm going to walk on tick 3, or I'm going to run, rather, on tick 3 to behind the pillar. You get behind the pillar, figure out what you're doing with the Fremmies. Usually it's all, like 99% of the time, it should be Berserker first, and then you can figure it out from there. Okay? You can protect against the Freminics. So if you have only a Serpent Shaman attacking you, you can just leave the Freminic Major alive for a second and like solve the wave if you're a little bit frazzled. Leave the Freminic up that matches the mob that's attacking you. Now, that's not always the case. Sometimes you're going to get double south spawn. It is what it is. Unlucky. Those of you that are using Northwest Pillar, double south spawns go something like this. I'll put an example up on screen here. You'll get a double south spawn, you're going to panic, and you're going to die. That's how it's going to go. These are solvable if you think quickly and think on your feet, but you're going to be tanking damage most of the time, and they're not ideal. We don't love double south spawn on Northwest Pillar, but it happens. I forget what the chances are. It's like a 1 in... I don't think it's quite 1 in 3. I don't know what it is, but the chances are pretty high that you're going to face a double south pretty much every run, and if you can't solve it, it's going to end your run, which feels bad. Southwest doesn't usually have this problem because you can rotate on both sides of the pillar. We'll get to that later as well. But yeah, most of the Colosseum is going to be wave start, the first 10 seconds. You're going to solve that, and then you're going to have like a break period, and then you're going to have to figure out what you're doing with the reinforcements. And then once that's solved, you're good. The wave is clear. It's over. The wave is solved. There should be nothing happening. You can just take your time. That's another big thing that I'm going to be emphasizing. Take your time. This isn't a race. Nobody gives, okay? How fast you did your Colosseum. No one cares. Just get it done. Take your time. You'll be okay. It's textbook. It's truly a textbook experience. I'm trying to make this a textbook experience for you. We'll get into it. Once you have your first stack, it's going to be, by default, I want you to get this in your brain. Do you see my mouse? You see my mouse? You can't see my mouse. Okay. You see this pillar here? I'm going to show you a stack solve. So up on screen here is a stack solve. It's your basic stack solve, okay? Whatever the mob is behind the mob that's against the pillar. So it's thing in the back, thing in the front. That's how you flick. You stand in the middle of the pillar. And then you're going to walk out to its leaning side. thing in the back, thing in the front. That's it. Okay? And what you're going to want to do, don't count ticks. You can if you want. Everything in here is on a 5-tick cycle. I recommend you just recognize animations. When the animation of the thing in the back begins, you need to flick to the thing in the front. And when the thing in the front's animation ends, or begins even, however you want to do it, you flick back to the thing in the back. Okay? You just don't want to lose your tempo there. Now, of course, there are situations where you'll have 3 things in a stack, or 2 things in the front, and 1 thing in the back, and blah, 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 blah. We'll get into that later. First, we should meet everybody and see what they do. So, these are the enemies we're going to be facing. These guys they're going to annoy you. Now, if you're settled, you can figure out how these things, operate. I think they're on a 6-tick cycle. And if you attack them outside of ticks 1 and 6, you don't take any damage, and you can just kill them damageless, whatever. Don't worry about that. It doesn't matter. Kill these
Shoot this motherfucker!
As fast as you possibly can, kill them. Do not wait for them to be off their attack. Kill them. Get them off of your screen, okay? As fast as humanly possible, get these guys off your screen. They are the combat triangle. They will always sprint at you. They will walk with you, okay? You're going to want to kill the meleeer. That's why I've left him big. Kill this guy first. Then I usually go for either the seer or the ranger, depending on what's attacking me. Always SGS spec the ranger so you can get your prayer and your HP. And then you can kill the seer with your Adladdle, whatever you need to kill it with. Get them off of your screen as fast as you possibly can. That is the goal of the Colosseum. Get them off. Once these guys are off your screen, it's a lot easier to solve. But sometimes, you're going to have to kill these guys while you're flicking stuff, okay? Sometimes there's going to be a Manticore on top of you, and you're going to need to pay attention. When this happens, you are allowed to just chill and flick the Manticore. What I recommend you do is get comfortable with control clicking. Control clicking will be your friend, because this buys you more time before you run into a wall and then the Fremmies start attacking you and you take a bunch of damage, okay? Control clicking and flicking a Manticore is your friend. So these guys don't change. You can just get familiar with them on wave 1. Like, nothing changes. They operate the same throughout the entire Colosseum. If you get Quartet, you'll get 1 additional one. I highly recommend you avoid Quartet unless you're going into Sol. We'll talk about that later. All right, your first enemy, the Serpent Shaman. I regret to inform you this guy's going to make you very angry. He makes stacks really weird. He can, like, block solves. You have to solve things backwards if he's in front of a Javelin or a Manticore, because he won't move sometimes. Only on the north sides of the pillar. If he's on the east sides of the pillar, he'll, like, jiggle out of the stack. It's really annoying. He's really frustrating. But all he realistically does is shoot Water Surge at you on a 5-tick cycle. And he's a 1x1. He's really easy to manipulate. We can drag him out of stacks. We can, pull him down the side of the pillar. We can block him on reinforcement spawn. And that's probably the one that's going to anger you the most, is the shaman that spawns on reinforcements. It is what it is. Just get used to this guy. You're going to hate him by the end of Colosseum. You're going to wish this guy didn't exist. He's honestly the most infuriating mob in the entire Colosseum modes, because he just makes things weird. And sometimes it doesn't work how you think it's going to work, and, it happens. You're going to end up tanking a bunch of these guys off prayer because shit happens, okay? It's fine. He's not going to kill you very quickly. I think he maxes like a 28 or something like that, so, like, absolute worst case, swap into your crystal if you're tanking him and hope for the best, Ideally, you're just protecting Mage and you're killing him. He's not that fancy. He's just a guy that sends a Water Surge at you. That's it. This is a turnip head dweeb. This is the Jaguar Warrior. He does not spawn in the default waves. He only spawns in reinforcements until wave 7, but he does always spawn as reinforcements until then. All he does is basically Burning Claw spec you over and over again, except every single hit splat can be like a 44. Do not let this guy touch you under any circumstances. He can be safe spotted very easily, and you can do the little trick I said to build the wall, let him slide down and safe spot himself, or you can just let this guy slide into the stack behind the pillar and worry about him later because he's not a Minotaur. He can't heal anybody. He's just there. If he's stuck, let him be stuck. Good. Make sure if he's on the other side of you and you are shooting something on the other side of him, like, say, a javelin, which we'll talk about now. If this guy throws his mortar at you and you step back into a Jaguar Warrior, you gon' die. So make sure you don't do that. If you do that, make sure the Jaguar Warrior is off tick at the very least, and you can protect melee and move into that tile. Just be aware. Make sure you don't step a tile, you know, to the west, and then you pull him out of his safe spot and he goes and claw specs you. Just be aware. He's just a melee guy. You've safe spotted so many melee guys doing your quests. You know how to do it. You've air struck and wind bolted so many dudes from a safe spot. It's the same concept. Don't let him out of his safe spot, okay? Keep him stuck. Unless you can protect melee and just kill him 1v1. Then it's fine. Okay, Javelin Colossus. This guy attacks on a 5-tick cycle, just like everything else. We'll talk about the Manticore. The Manticore is technically a 10-tick cycle. Don't worry about it. It's still a 5-tick cycle. The Javelin, every 5 attacks, which is good to know. Every 5 attacks on a 5-tick cycle, he will throw a mortar in the air, and once that mortar reaches the sky, it will select the tile that you're on and fall onto that tile. Okay? So it's not when the animation starts that your tile gets selected. Okay? It's after the mortar has hit the sky. Then it chooses your tile. It's really weird. I promise he's still on a 5-tick cycle. It doesn't cause any delays. That is just his attack. The animation is just really, really long. Okay? He attacks very shortly after he launches it. But you still have to move. That's all this guy does. The mortars are probably going to be what's going to hit you the most. You're going to get hit by mortars, especially if he's on you at the beginning of the wave and you're taking a second to solve your Fremmies. You don't realize that he's launched a mortar at you and you end up running back into the mortar on the ground as you're solving your Fremmies. You take like a 45 and then your Blasphemy smites you and then you're really sad and, you know, average Colosseum things, not speaking from experience. This guy's not too bad. He's basically he is the most common mob that you're going to have to deal with, so get used to him. And he's really not that big of a deal. You can just like move a tile and continue solving as you were. Now, the Manticore. This is probably going to kill you a few times. If you have ever done Cerberus, the flick is exactly the same as the Cerberus ghosts, okay? So he is going to charge up either range, mage, melee, or mage, range, melee, barring Manti Mayhem 3, which I do not recommend you choose for a first-time quiver. All you have to do for this mob, you preemptively pray whatever the first attack he has charged up is. So if it's range, mage, melee, you're going to just preemptively have that pray range up. And when you see the projectile launch, okay, the green projectile is now moving at you. The moment you see that happen, switch to the next prayer in the cycle, and you just go down the line. So you'll preemptively pray range, he'll fire the range at you, you'll go to mage, and then you'll go to melee. You do not have to even look at the animation anymore. Because of the way the game operates, your prayer will just be on the next tick, right? And the Manticore attacks on each tick. So it's range on tick, we'll just call it tick 1. Range on tick 1, mage on tick 2, melee on tick 3. You can't operate faster than that with your prayers. It doesn't work. So once the projectile fires, you're just going to go range, it's already up, projectile fires, mage, melee. That's it. Very simple. He's going to slot in to many different cycles. You can off-tick him just the same as any other mob. If he's stacked up behind something, you would just flick through his attack and then the thing in the front. If he's in the front, you would flick him after the thing in the back. If it's same ticked, then you would just go out the side of the pillar, but we'll again talk about that later once we talk about stack solves and situations and things like that. He's not scary. He's very simple to deal with. He will attack you on a 5-tick cycle, but it's sort of like a 10-tick cycle, because what he's going to do is he's going to fire his attacks, tick 1, tick 2, tick 3, and he's just going to go on cooldown, which is really weird. So he's on a 10-tick cycle, in quotes, because He's going to fire 1, 2, 3, rest, rest, charge up 1, 2, 3, rest, rest, fire. If that makes sense. So it's 3 ticks active, 2 ticks empty, 3 ticks active, 2 ticks empty. So it's a 10 tick cycle. Don't think about it too hard. He's on a 5 tick cycle. You just flick through his prayers once they fire at you. Don't make it more complicated than it is. I'm going to not make it more complicated than it is. That's all you have to do. It's a Cerberus flick. It's very simple. Next up, biggest fraud in the Colosseum. This mob is useless. He has 125 HP, no defense. All he does is shoot magic at you, and he's a big idiot. That's it. Nothing impressive. You can just deal with this guy and move on with your life. Genuinely, there's nothing to talk about with this thing. I wish it was more interesting. It just isn't. It doesn't do anything. It's a fraud. Worst mob in the game. Minotaur. This guy, if his center tile sees the center tile of another mob that is damaged, he will heal that mob. He will not do this if he is in a melee encounter with you. If he is attacking you, he will not heal another mob. Or, I believe, if you corner trap him on another mob and then range it, he will not heal it either. Don't really need to worry about that. That's like super tech kind of thing. You don't need to worry about it. What you're going to do is build the wall and let him slide on down the wall. You're going to deal with him, and then you're going to deal with the rest of the wave. That's it. This guy is not that impressive. Very easy to manipulate. Very stupid, small brain, idiot. He spawns from waves 7 and beyond. Just let the reinforcement spawn when you have the wave somewhat solved on the other side of the pillar, or you're at least safe. Build the wall, let him slide down, deal with him, finish dealing with the rest of the wave. Very simple. Not a big deal at all, I promise. We'll talk more about this guy later because that's like a whole other section. For now, let's talk about some invocations, okay, from left to right. This is sort of how you want to prioritize things. Obviously, you'll get into situations where you kind of just have to click one and hope for the best. You'll see 3 exclamation points on the try to avoid section. We'll talk about that in a moment. Don't worry about it. So the free invocations. I put Blasphemy on here. I don't know why I only put Blasphemy 1 and then I put the other 3. Don't worry about it. Blasphemy 1 through 3, completely free. You're probably going to lock this in on your first 3 waves is usually what happens. If you don't, because you see other things, that's good too. The general strategy for invocations is you want to get a new good invocation as often as possible because the game wants to give you invocations that you already have. So if you see an okay invocation after, like say on wave 2, you get presented with Myopia 1, Volatility, Blasphemy 2, you want to lock in Myopia or Volatility. Probably Myopia. It's like BIS. It's BIS. You want Myopia pretty much every time. But you would want to lock in one of those before clicking Blasphemy 2, because you want the game to give you the ones that you want more often. That way, it won't give you the ones that you don't want, which is ideal. So, Blasphemy 1 through 3, Myopia 1 through 3, Solar Flare 1 and 2. I'll explain that a little bit more in the clips, but Solar Flare is not that bad. Like, even if you have to tank a Solar Flare, like, it's not the end of the world. You'll take, like, 10 to 20 damage, and it'll be fine. Solar Flare 3 can get a little bit frisky, and for your first soul, Solar Flare might be a little bit annoying, but I do the example kill with Solar Flare on, and I probably was paying too much attention to it. I could have, like, virtually ignored it. Like, genuinely, it's not that big of a deal. Your Blood Fury will just heal you back up for any chip you take from Solar Flare. So you can kind of just ignore it. Obviously, you don't just, like, stand in and follow it, but you can, like, usually ignore it. Volatility 1 and 2. In the Colosseum plugin, there's a Volatility reminder that you can just click on, and whenever you kill a mob, the little Volatility icon will appear where it died, and you'll just like remember, oh yeah, Volatility's on, let me get out of the way. It's really, with Volatility 1, you step 1 tile back after you kill a mob in melee range, and with Volatility 2, you step 2 tiles back from a mob that you kill in melee range. If you kill it at range, you're fine. Like, you can just bofa from 2+ tiles away, and you don't have to worry about Volatility at all. Manti Mayhem 1 and 2 are also pretty free. Because we take Samfuse Serums, Manti Mayhem 2 does literally nothing. And if you do not have the full Guthans and you're taking a Serp Helm in your gear instead, Manti Mayhem 2 also does nothing. Manti Mayhem 1 just punishes you for doing something that you shouldn't be doing anyway, which is tanking a Manticore off prayer. You should always be flicking a Manticore. That should be priority number 1. If you are tanking a stack for some reason, you should be flicking a Manticore before you're just like protecting Mage and walking somewhere. You should always be flicking the Manticore. That is priority number 1. That is probably what's going to kill you the most. So, Manti Mayhem 1 and 2 are totally fine. Fine, but not ideal. We are going to put Frailty 1 and 2 in this category, because you can click these. They are fine. Frailty 3 gets a little bit frisky. You're going to try to avoid Frailty 3. I forgot to put it over there, but you definitely want to try to avoid Frailty 3. It's unlikely that you would have to do a soul with Frailty 3, but if you absolutely have to, you can. He, I don't believe, can one-shot you, even at 60 HP. So long as you are at 60 HP, he cannot one-shot you. But the lasers can. And obviously, if you step in a puddle and get chipped out and then he hits you, then he can one-shot you. Okay? On the try to avoid section... Oh, we also have Doom in fine but not ideal. Doom 1. Doom 1 gives you 15 hits, okay? And it resets after the wave. And if you take 15 hits at soul, you're probably dead anyway. So Doom 1 is fine. You just have to remember, when you select Doom 1, it'll be more likely that the game delivers upon to you Doom 2. And then if you have 2 other bad invocations, that we'll talk about in a moment, that could be squiggly. You can do Doom 2, which is why it's in this try to avoid section over here, which we can talk about now. Doom 2 gives you 10 hits. You're probably going to take the bulk of your hits from the Fremmies at the beginning of the wave, or anything that you end up having to tank because you can't off-tick them properly. There are ways to off-tick, but I assume a lot of you don't want to bother with that, so we'll mention it, but it's not required that you do it at all. You can probably just do it without thinking about it. I'll show you what to do for that. Doom 2, 10 hits. Try to avoid it, not the end of the world. Relentless 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to put these on an exclamation point. These are usually bad, like pretty much always during the waves. But if you're going into Soul and it presents you with this, it's completely fine. Or if you're going to do like wave 11 and this is your only option because you get like Bees and Totemic and Relentless 1, you just take Relentless and you hope for the best. It's not the end of the world. It's just not ideal because we want to be tanky. We want to be able to tank. We want to be able to make mistakes and not get hyper punished for it, right? Solar Flare 3, again, try to avoid it. It does more damage than Solar Flare 1 and 2, and now will turn any prayers that you have on off if you get hit by it. That's the big change for Solar Flare 3. It turns your prayers off, which makes it so you can't really tank it because you're going to turn your prayers off. And let's say you go into Soul with Solar Flare 3 and you get hit by it when you're trying to do the Protect Melee parry, and then it doesn't turn on because you're not allowed to do that, and you explode. So try to avoid Solar Flare 3. You can still run it. It's totally fine, but try to avoid it. It's not ideal. Manti Mayhem 3 and Quartet. These you want to pretty much avoid at all costs because they're not fantastic during the waves, obviously. But again, little exclamation point. If you're going into Soul and you're presented with these, not the end of the world. Quartet seems like it's scary, but it's really not that big of a deal. You can walk up to Soul, attack him, step back. The Fremmies will be there. You deal with the Fremmies. You go back to Soul. It's over, right? It takes maybe 3 seconds. The only thing that really happens is like maybe you get a little off tempo because you're not paying attention to Soul. But it's just a Fremmies. You can pray against it if you need to get your bearings, and it's fine. You just really don't want it during the waves. Okay, not for you, part-timer. You never click these. You just don't do it, okay? If you are new to the Colosseum, you're never clicking any of these. If you see them on your screen, they don't exist, okay? Totemic, Re-entry, Dynamic Duo, Red Flag, Bees, and Doom 3. As a first-time Quiver getter, you are not clicking these, ever. You are just not clicking these. Most of the time, even if you're not a first-time Quiver getter, you're not clicking these. They make things genuinely miserable. They make solves harder. They make the beginning of the wave harder. They make reinforcements come like faster. It almost seems, obviously, they only come at 40 seconds, but you lose time because of these things that you forget reinforcements are coming, and it's suddenly 40 seconds when you were dealing with all this other garbage. So never click these. Don't even think about it. Don't even argue it. Just don't click these until you are like super, super experienced and you know why you're clicking these. Don't bother. Bees and Totemic can come up. It gives you like Venator bow shots and whatever, and re-entry if you place the mortars right and you track your rangers. It's like nothing. Dynamic Duo can RNG you into like one bad spawn on wave 11. Just don't click it. Just don't click it, okay? Don't do that to yourself. Don't worry about it. Save it for later. All that being said, what the heck do I do when I get in there? What pillar am I supposed to go to? You have two options realistically. Northwest or Southwest. Let's talk about some benefits to each, okay? And some cons. Let's talk about Northwest first. This is usually everyone's default because you can RNG into like a free soul attempt. So this has RNG spawns that will end the run, and there are times where you simply cannot scramble, solve, or tank well enough. You'll have a double south spawn, and you can't rotate to the other side of the pillar properly to off-tick the things that's on the other side of the pillar. So if you have like a mage first Manticore with a ranger on this side of the pillar here, and you have, you know, a ranger and a mage first Manticore on this side of the pillar, you're dead. You're dead. I'm sorry to tell you, but you're dead. More than likely. Because if this Manticore fires at you one time, and you have to go, before you went over here to try and solve the Fremmies, because you would have to go over here to solve the Fremmies, the Manticore is going to charge up, you're going to be tanking the ranger, and then you need to solve this side of the pillar in a matter of 5 ticks to run to the middle and go this way, because you can only solve going this way. We'll talk more about this once we get into game. But you can only go this way to solve this side of the pillar. You can't go this way unless there's specific situations. And to solve this side of the pillar here, the east side of Northwest pillar, you have to go this way. So you can't solve this side of the pillar if there's 2 guys over here. You have to get rid of these first. It requires you to get rid of these first. And then if you're killing a guy over here and you have this stack messed up and a Minotaur spawns and drags over here and you didn't build the wall, it's now going to heal this mob, and then this is really annoying. So now we have to go deal with the Minotaur, but wait a minute, we have to go pull the Minotaur over here and try and safe spot him here, and hopefully he still doesn't have the LOS over here, which he shouldn't. He probably won't. But like, you see what I mean? Like, these things can stack up and they can get really, really annoying because you've had the double south spawn. It's going to kill you a lot of the times. They are solvable. You usually just have to tank on either side of the pillar to figure it out, and then you'll be good to go. Mage block. We'll talk about mage block. This is when the reinforcements spawn. I think wave 3 is the first time the mage spawns with the meleeer. All you do is move to a tile where the major can see you from where it spawns. You'll protect magic to hold the major in place. Let the meleeer come around in front of it. Doesn't always work on Northwest, but you can do your best to make it happen. And then the major will slot behind the meleeer, and you can safe spot the meleeer on the side of the pillar. You can RNG into free soul attempts with really low effort on this pillar. You could get to a soul attempt in like 15 runs because you just got like the freest spawns ever. Everything stacked up behind this pillar, got stuck over here, stuck right here, nothing spawned over here. Maybe one guy spawned over here and you just shot him with your bow, you solved the Fremmies and it was easy. Okay, that can happen, absolutely. You can't always rotate both ways of the pillar. We kind of already talked about that. And I would recommend you use Northwest if you never want to come back to the Colosseum after your first quiver. This is a really annoying pillar to learn. Like, genuinely. It's a very annoying pillar. You can't always do your rotates properly. You can't always mage block properly. You'll just sort of be a little more reliant on RNG, so I don't love it. Or you'll be rotating a lot, which is fine. It's beginner friendly. If you want to just get your first quiver to get it done on this pillar, go for it. Let's talk about Southwest. Consistent solvable waves that usually demand quick reactions or future sight, and you can still get those easy like RNG waves, but a lot of the time you're going to have to be a little bit quicker on your feet. I think Southwest is a little bit more demanding of you to know how to do your quick pillar solves. The kick here is you can do the pillar solves on both sides of the pillar. You can run, because it'll stack on the north side and the east side, and you have to rotate to the south side and the west side after you're on this side. So you can rotate here, flick this side of the pillar, and then rotate back and flick this side of the pillar. So you can always do that. You just have to be aware of what you can and can't do and what you're supposed to do to solve the wave, right? So there are less RNG solves. It's going to require you to solve your stacks to rotate properly to make sure you're not taking any damage while you're doing the Fremenics, and before the reinforcement spawn, you're getting the wave as solved as possible, and sometimes it'll take you double rotating. But you can double rotate without ever tanking anything. On Northwest, you're going to have to tank sometimes. It just is what it is. You're going to have to tank sometimes. Let's say you have a Ranger and a Mage and a double Manticore over here on wave 11. Yeah, you're probably shitting yourself on Northwest Pillar, because that's not a fun thing to rotate into. It just isn't. You're going to have to protect Mage, go over here, tank the Ranger at least once, let the Manticores pull up, swing back, and then do double flake Manticores while you're solving your Fremmies, and hopefully that your reinforcement timer is not too swift and you can catch the major before it messes you up even more. So Southwest doesn't do that. You can always mage block, you can always solve, you can always do your stacks. I have examples of both. They will be in the description below as unlisted videos. If you want full runs of both Southwest and Northwest Pillar, I have one of each. And both, I think the Soul Attempt will be separate as well. So if you do need the like full Soul Attempt, like unedited, that will also be in the description below. Make sure you go check those out if you need to. It's just more stuff for you guys to look at rather than just my words. Anyways, Southwest is rewarding but difficult. Try it if you like Colo and you want to run it more. I do recommend that you bring a range switch regardless of which pillar you go to. You can do melee only on Southwest. A lot more annoying to do melee only on Northwest. While you're getting your sea legs, bring a range switch, get used to it, and you'll be good to go. Let's talk about the really important part that I was just referencing in that last section. Solving stacks. So this is where we need to... I'm going to be in the game, and I'm going to be putting clips up for you on the screen, and I will be going over them with you because you are going to get in a lot of situations, and I'm going to do my best to tell you every situation you may get into and what you can do to resolve it. Okay, time to talk about more things in the Colosseum before we get into situations and stack solves. I just want to explain the tiles and sort of what I'm talking about whenever I'm talking about things. So, depending on what pillar you start at, when you come in here, you are free to do whatever. So over here's the start wave guy, but before you do that, you're free to do whatever. You can run around, you can just like experiment and look at what you're doing, look at your arena, kind of feel it out. But what I like to do is go ahead and drop 3 things over here, so that way we can switch to all of our weapons, BOFA, whatever we need to do, without having to worry about inventory slots. So drop 3 things over here, and this is going to be your default stance at the beginning of every single wave. You're going to put on your Trident and your DFS, or your Warp Scepter, Sanguinesti, whatever you have. You're going to put that on, you're going to put on your tank. And then you're going to protect against whatever the most threatening thing in the wave is over here. This is the Fortis Colosseum plugin. You can put the splits up if you want to. You probably should, so you can see your timers, which is very important. So if we go over here to the Fortis Colosseum plugin, we make sure we have this waves overlay. We're going to display, and we're going to put the names of everything colloquially, not the official ones. So like Lion, Melee, Mage, Fremmie. Otherwise, if you do it this way, it's going to be Serpent Shaman, Jaguar Warrior. You can do it that way if you want to, but this keeps it nice and simple. Then you can go down here to splits and make sure that the split overlay is online. And that's pretty much it. That is the Fortis Colosseum plugin. Just make sure you go grab that and you'll be good to go. The next thing I want to recommend to you is the visual metronome. Now, at the beginning of every wave, this is how it's going to go. You are going to click Start Wave. Okay, you're going to click your thing, you're going to click continue, and when you click continue, let's pretend I'm clicking continue here, right? Boom, I see tick 1. So I'm going to run over here when I see tick 1 again, all right? This is your starter tile where you dropped your sand fuse. If you're doing Southwest, you can use this tile. Ignore this. This is no monkey's tile. You can ignore this one. This is for off ticks at the beginning of the wave. I'm not going to make you do that. Depending on what pillar you go to, these are your 2 starting tiles. I'm going to export this. This is going to be in the description for you, okay? If you do Southwest, you have all of these tiles for Mage Block and whatever. If you want to Mage Block over here, it's the same thing. You just need to be down here on the same line as this Mage Block. So you can really just be anywhere here. It doesn't matter like exactly what tile you're on. You just need to be in range of the reinforcements which spawn over here. So you have Melee, Mage, Minotaur spawns. Don't worry about these green tiles. You're not going to use those. The Minnow drag tile is obviously where you drag the Minotaur. And then this tile is where you can drag out a Mage if you need to drag out a Mage. So these are your 2 furthest drag tiles to destack the Rangers in a triple stack. You'll see an example of that. If there's a triple stack here or a triple stack on this side of the pillar, you can go to these tiles to destack the furthest thing in the stack, but only in a triple stack, not in a double stack. These are solar flare lines for Soul. You don't really have to pay attention to these. If you want them, they will also be in the description for the line markers plugin, which is different from tile markers. So if you want line markers, you're going to need to put this into your plugin from the plugin hub, and then it's over here, and we have soul orbs right here. I'll export this to you into the description below. Okay, so a quick brief about what you're going to do at the beginning of every wave, and I'll go ahead and just do it for you here, is you're going to protect against whatever the most threatening thing in the wave is, which in our case is the Mage. We're going to click Blasphemy pretty much every time. We're going to click Continue. We see tick 3, okay? So we're going to run over here on tick 3. Boom. We're going. Now, you have 2 options here. You can greed for a Berserker hit, or you can just wait on this safe tile. You always want to go to the furthest opposite safe tile and get to work on your Fremmies, okay? You can drag the magic guy over here so you can get to this guy in a faster manner. put on your defender, and just get this guy dead. That is the beginning of every single wave, okay? We're going to go over it again. Okay, we're back in. I had to tell you out because I forgot about reinforcements and the melee came over. Anyway, that is your default start for every single wave. You're going to, whichever pillar you choose, drop 3 of your potions right here, drop them on the tile. These are your 2 starting tiles, okay? You're going to see a tick number when you hit continue, and you're going to run to the furthest side of the pillar behind the pillar. This is your default on either side. So from here to here, or if you're going on southwest, you're going to be going from here all the way over to here on the tick that you see, okay? That's all you're going to do on wave start every single time. You put up your protection against whatever the most threatening thing is, throw on Piety so you can make sure you one-shot the ranger with Seraphim Godsword, especially if you're a little bit lower strength, you're not 99. And that is your default, okay? That is wave start every single time, and then I'll go into explaining destacking and everything else. So let's quickly talk about pillar rotates. When you're over here, if you get a double south spawn over here, you cannot rotate this way, which is what you need to do to make sure these guys stack up, right? If you get a double south spawn, these guys need to come over here. You will tank whatever is over here because you have to rotate this way and then rotate back to off-tick these 2 things, okay? This is why Northwest can get a little bit awkward. It forces you to tank whatever is over here. Say it's a Manticore and a Ranger. We're going to flick through the Manticore. We're tanking the Ranger pretty much every time because we can't off-tick this way. We have to off-tick these stacks this way, right? We have to go from center of tile and go here to do thing in the back, thing in the front, which is your default solution for basically every single stack. If you have a Ranger and a Major, you're going to start from the center of the pillar. You're going to move out, thing in the back, thing in the front. That's your default every single time. Doesn't matter what it is. If it's a Ranger, you're going to go... If it's a Ranger and a Manticore with Manticore on Mage first, you're literally just going to do this. It's a thing in the back, thing in the front. So you're going to flick the Ranger, you see the animation, and now you're going to do like this. And then you're going to go back to range. That's literally it. It's nothing more complicated than that. If you have a triple stack, you can use the DESTACK tile, or you can rotate the pillar. I'll show you examples of that if you're on Northwest. On Southwest, you are allowed to rotate both ways. Let's say we're on the center of the pillar here. We need to rotate this way to solve this stack, and we need to rotate this way to solve this stack, which means at the beginning of the wave, let's say we run over here, we have a double south spawn, we're like a rut-row, we need to move to this side. But if this stack settles in time, say you have a Ranger and a Manticore, you have enough time to let the Manticore charge up, let this stack settle over here, and then go to your center tile, go over here, thing in the back, thing in the front, and then you can control walk, solve your Fremmies, control walk back, solve your Fremmies, do whatever you need to do over here, just keep control walking and flicking, whatever you need to do, solve your Fremmies. And then before reinforcements spawn, again, this part of the stack will have settled, and now you can go back to this center tile right here, and then you do the same thing, thing in the back, thing in the front, and you rotate over here and you attack this guy. So Southwest is nice, but it does demand that you know your stack solves immediately. And sometimes it can get a little awkward if you, for some reason, wind up with a triple stack on this side of the pillar and one guy over here. That usually happens if you Northwest rotate over to Southwest. Now it can get a little awkward when the reinforcements spawn, because if you don't know your instant triple stack solve, you're going to be shit out of luck, right? In the description below, I have linked a Google Doc that I used learning Colosseum way back when it first came out. It was a document that was sort of just like a community-generated thing, just kept adding stack solves to it. I don't really like the one on the wiki. It's a little bit convoluted to me, so I like the stack solver and then the Colosseum LOS plugin, which I will go into now to show you how you can utilize it when you have a stack to see what you can do about it. Okay, so this is how you can use the plugin at base. So let's say we have a simple stack. Obviously, we know we can do thing in the back, thing in the front here. But I want to show you how to use the tool if you end up getting additional mobs involved, and this will sort of help you solve certain situations if you understand how to read it. So this guy can't see us, and the tile we want to run to would be this tile, or we can be here and go to this tile, or this tile, or this tile, right? So what we want to look at is when we click and hold on this mob, sometimes you'll have to hit this toggle LOS button, because if you hit it and then you click and hold, there's nothing there. Then you click it again, click and hold. Now we can see it again. Cool. So when you click and hold, you can see the LOS. What you want to do is figure out, okay, when you run to this tile, these guys are going to do boop, boop, right? Both of them are going to go boop, boop to follow you because they can't run. They can't go like this. They can't go from here to here. They have to go boop, boop, right? So what you can do to check is know that they can't see this tile right here where we want to go. We want to go from here to here because we're going to run. And neither of these guys can see that tile. But then what do we do, okay, to check, to make sure our off-tick is correct, thing in the back, thing in the front, right? So let's see what happens to this guy when he goes, boop. Okay, nice, he can see the tile, right? Cool. When we go this guy, boop, Oh, he can't see the tile. Isn't that so? That's so strange. But then when he comes here, boom, now he can see the tile, right? So you're on. For them, he's gonna go tick one, right? He sees you. He doesn't see you. Tick two, he still sees you, but he's on cooldown. Tick two, he sees you, but he's not on cooldown. So you do thing in the back, thing in the front. That's why it works. Okay? When you add another dude into the mix, let's say we have, I don't know, another Shockwave. Okay? This guy and this guy have basically the same LOS, right? If we add this to the stack. Conveniently, when this guy moves, boop, he sees that tile, right? And when this guy moves, he sees that tile. So what does that mean? Tick one, both of these guys see this tile. Guess what we're already doing? Protecting magic. So this solve is still going to be thing in the back, thing in the front. Because when Manticore moves here, boop, boop, boop. Oh, I killed him. When Manticore moves here, he can't see us still, right? He still can't see us. He has to move over here. He has to move over here. And then these guys will already have already been here, and you're literally just doing things in the back, thing in the front. Okay? So if you need to utilize this tool, it is in the description, and sometimes you'll have stack, wherever you are on the pillar, like if you have something like this, I don't know how the fuck you would do this, but, if you're like this, and then this guy's going to come over here, and you got to figure out how to do this off tick. It's the same concept. It's still going to be thing in the back, thing in the front, but you rotate here. And then you need to make sure you're here so you don't tank this guy, right? So whatever you need to solve, you can plug it in here. All the guys are up here. You just click and drag them onto the board, and whatever you have, you can solve. So pretty nice tool. I use it a lot when I have stacks. Let's say I have something like this, right? Whenever I'm in this mode, let's say we have a guy here, a guy here. Let's say I'm over here because I went to my safe tile, right? We have a guy here, a guy here. Oh, they're going to be the same thing because they're Manticores. Then we have like this. We have like this. Okay. When we have something like this, I will go check my LOS and be like, okay, what the hell is going to happen? Because when you have a stack like this, these two are blocking. These two guys aren't going to move. Only these two guys are going to move. So this guy always sees this, right? So now you're in a really weird spot where this is just bad. So your best bet is to actually just go over here. Let this guy stack like this. Let this guy stack like this. This guy will run down like this. This guy will run down like this as long as you remain in this spot so you can build the wall, right? And they'll just slide in like this and you can solve it one at a time. So knowing how your stacks solve when you rotate is also a good thing, but you can't really check that in this. It's just sort of something you have to understand. But I have examples right now to show you before you jump into the Colosseum. It's the last bit of this video. Sorry it's been so long, but I hope you're ingesting all the information. All right, so we're going to start with the most basic stack that you're going to run into, especially the most complicated one. Double South, Major, and Ranger early on. This can happen as early as Wave 2 for you. So if this stack happens, don't panic, it's actually pretty fine. It's only a problem when the Major is in front of the Ranger over here, and it's like slightly a problem depending on how deep you are in your run. So you'll also notice there's a Ranger back here. He's going to get stuck behind this pillar, but we will have to free him because we're going to have to rotate to this side to make sure that this stack comes over here and we can solve it. So at the beginning of the wave, we're always starting here. We're clicking here on tick 5 because this is like your default safe tile, safe in quotes. It pulls everything as close as possible to you and gives you the most amount of time to think. So by default, you're always just going to click this. Don't worry about these other 3 tiles. Like, you genuinely don't overcomplicate it, okay? Just run to this tile and solve from here. I promise it's not that difficult. So what are we going to do? We're going to run to this tile. I immediately switch to Protect from Magic because I'm tankier against the Ranger. I'm always going to take a Mage hit. So this guy gets freed from the pillar, but we don't care. We can just leave on Protect Range, deal with our Fremmies as we do, and then all we have to do is go to the center. You'll see me do it right here. We'll go to the center of the pillar, and particularly, we're going to wait for this guy to attack us one more time. Because if we switch to Protect Magic now, we risk tanking a range hit, and we don't need to do that. So we're going to go to the center of pillar, and we're going to rotate this way, and it's always thing in the back, thing in the front. When you're on northwest pillar, this is the way you have to rotate, unless this shaman is in front of this ranger, in which case you have to rotate this way, and it gets really ugly really fast, because you're always going to have stacks on this side of the pillar. So if you do have a shaman and then a ranger, you can't rotate this way unless you want to eat whatever's on this side of the pillar, which is usually not ideal because most of the time it's a Manticore. So if you go this way, you're just going to eat shit and die, probably. So That only happens if the Shaman is in front of the Ranger. So once Shaman is like out of the picture for the most part, you don't have to worry about this rotate anymore. But if the Shaman is ever in front of the Ranger, I'll show an example, you can't rotate this way. So we're going to go to the middle of the pillar. We're going to go this way. We're going to run, make sure run is on. You want to go right here because your character is going to skip this tile, right? It's not going to exist here. It's going to go from here to here. So what's going to happen is little buddy right here is going to drag with you and see you first. And then this guy's going to finish his drag and see you second. But this guy is going to get LOS to you first. Here we go. Protect from magic, step out, major, ranger. And then all you have to do from here is just flick between mage and range. And now you have two options. You can either A, sit here and just do this and it's fine. But solar flare is here. If you don't have solar flare, this is irrelevant. But if you don't like solar flare, you don't want to like move and flick and do whatever, just stand in this tile right here, keep up your flick, put on your Bofa, and just shoot whichever guy. It doesn't matter. You just stand right here, keep flicking, and shoot your Bofa. You can ignore Solar Flare. With Solar Flare on, you can do one of two things. Either A, you can just tank it. It's truly like 10 to 20 damage. It doesn't matter. You're going to heal it up with Blood Fury by the time it comes back around to you anyway. Or you can do Guthan Spear. Like, it doesn't matter. You can deal with it if you want to. Usually the best way to do it that I have found is to step 2 tiles away, keep doing your flick, wait for the Solar Flare to move, and then move again. This tile marker will be in the description, and you probably also saw it earlier in the video, so don't worry about it. Anyways, that's all you gotta do. Thing in the back, thing in the front from the middle of the pillar. On northwest, you're gonna rotate this way, or from this side of the pillar, you're gonna rotate this way. And that will be exampled in a moment. Here is how you off-tick the northwest side. The northwest pillar, when you have the Shaman in front of the Ranger. This is the reason we can't do anything about this stack, because we need to rotate this way to solve it. If you are in the middle of the pillar, anywhere, and you move over here, the Rangers will see you first, and then the Major. You do not have to be this far back. I was just testing things. You can be all the way up against the pillar. Works the same way. I was just testing to see if this was out of range. I think I had to double check if this was out of range of the Major, and the Major would come to here and like DESTACK, but it doesn't. I think you would have to move all the way here. 3, 6, 9, 10. Yeah, you'd have to move to this green tile if you wanted to DESTACK the Major out of this, but there's no real reason to do that. You can just step over here, it's off-ticked, and then you just move in and you kill. Okay, so here's that miserable situation I was talking about. We're on wave 6. Wave 6 is going to be one of your roadblocks. Wave 6, 8, 10, and 11 are going to be your roadblocks. So don't get upset if you're dying on these waves. It happens. It's pretty normal, especially if you're on Northwest and you get a spawn like this. If you get a spawn like this, reinforcements are on the way in 10 seconds. It's going to be a mage and a melee. That's bad news bears. We don't like that. You can do a few things here. One, you can risk the reinforcement spawn. The best case scenario is the meleeer gets trapped either here or here, and he can't get to you here. And the Major is off-ticked from the Ranger, and you're fine. All you have to do from there is make sure you flick Ranger and Major because they're off-ticked, kill the meleeer, and then kill whichever of these two, and then finish off the last one. But that's if, like, you Prage, because there's no good way to get them on a different tick, because if you try and step under this guy to put him on a different tick, this guy's going to attack you. This thing is going to start charging, and now your life is a little bit miserable. So the other thing you can try to do is just rotate your pillar. Tank the Ranger, like come around here, pray Mage, rotate over here after the reinforcement spawn, probably, because you're just going to get reinforcements on this side of the pillar if you go too early. The problem here is, what I was just saying last clip, we can't rotate this way, and this is the way we have to rotate for this stack. So what I'm going to do here is example for you, and rotate this way, and just die. I'm going to die for you here. This is what I'm going to show you. Because reinforcements are here. We're going to bail. There's nothing you can really do about it. Should have protect magic here, but it doesn't matter. Now, the rotate technically worked. I'm going to show you what I did wrong, which is good. I'm glad I did this wrong. What I should have done is gone to the center tile here. If you don't know why, it's because all of these guys' southwest tiles want to line up with me. The problem is, this Manticore is going to be blocking the Ranger, but it's not blocking the meleeer, which would allow the Shaman to file in behind him, and then we can settle this stack after the Manticore comes down this way, because we're on this center tile, and the meleeer would be here, also making the wall. The Manticore can't slot into this, so it's just going to keep coming down the line. We can kill the Manticore and then figure out what we're doing over here. It's probably just going to be like another rotate or something. This is a wave 6 on Northwest. It gets fucking weird. It just happens. You can't really do anything about it. It's Northwest Pillar, bro. Sometimes you're just going to RNG into some weird shit. Here is a quick example of why I find Bofa to be useful. Granted, this is probably not the best example of it, because you could just rotate to this side of the pillar and kill a ranger, let the shaman drag in, and then just melee it before reinforcements come. But I wanted to just get example clips of why a range switch would be cool to have. So we finish our reinforcements, or not our reinforcements, we finish our Fremmies, we just switch to the Bofa and we can start shooting this guy. Now, when Myopia happens, which inevitably it will because it's one of the best perks you can take, you would want to rotate over here, tank a few, you don't have to tank, you throw on protect range, go over here, let these guys hit you a couple times, let this guy drag over, and then you move back over and you can melee him, reinforcements spawn, it's just a melee, he always gets stuck. But it's nice to know that you have the safety to be able to stay behind your pillar and kill anything that's over here or over here before you deal with this. Same thing on Southwest Pillar. Having the range swap, it's just like a peace of mind thing. Is it completely necessary? No. It just helps you get out of some stickier situations that would otherwise be a little bit overly complicated to solve, or you'd have to do some some weird off-tick thing to pull whatever you need to pull over here to get your melee going. It's just nice to have a range swap that's super simple, 4-way. You don't have to bring a range pot, and you just chill. You know, you're not burning anything valuable by just shooting something for a second. Okay. Another example of that annoying double south spawn. We're on wave 5, which means we have a Major, a Ranger, and a Manticore. The Manticore, as you can see on the minimap, is stuck right up here. So, what's the problem here? Because the Manticore is 15 tiles, the problem here lies, I cannot shoot this thing. I have no way to shoot this thing, right? So I have two options. Either A, I come back around the pillar and I tank the dude and I pray, right? The other option would be rotate over here, let this guy pull up and tank for a bit, and then pull back around. Problem with pulling back around, reinforcements. We're not going to kill the Manticore. Our gear is pretty bad. We're not going to kill the Manticore before reinforcements gets to us, and it's a Mage and a melee. If that Mage is off-take from the Manticore, or if you can't safe spot the melee on the Manticore, which you wouldn't be able to, you're in some deep shit, right? Because now you can't rotate back this way either, because these two are in the wrong... They're in the wrong spot. You can't do anything about this. So, my course of action, you can already see, is I'm just going for it. I know I'm tanky. I'm going to risk it. But instead of protecting magic, I protected range on the way over. I ate a 24. I should have protected magic the whole time. Reason being, check it out. He hits a 0. The 5 was the seer. He hits another 0. Okay, I've killed the shaman. I'm going to go to protect range. He hit another 0. And now I'm just going to kill the shaman. Is that always going to happen? Absolutely not. But I think in this setup, the ranger has like a 38% chance to hit you or something like that. So it's not terribly high. And if he does hit you, it's going to be anywhere in the range of like, I don't know. What's his max? Like a 40-something. So his average hit's going to be a 20-something, which you can tank. And you have a Blood Fury. You could use the Spear, but you really want to use your higher DPS option. Again, all of these solves are with a DFS equipped. You only put the Dragon Defender on when you are completely solved, you're completely safe, and you need that DPS increase. DFS stays on when you're tanking and solving and figuring things out. So, this was a nice and easy solve up until this point. But, if you'll notice, make sure the timer does not escape you. Reinforcements are always on your ass. They're going to get there faster than you think every single time. So what do? I know it's coming. I don't need to kill this ranger right now. I know reinforcements is coming. Let me solve that before I go DPS over here, okay? Okay, nice. I was getting ready to mage block. I saw the mages behind. Don't need to do anything. Meleeer's going to get stuck. We can just bow for this guy. Easy peasy. Here, make sure you don't panic run away from the mortar, because if you click 2 tiles over here, this guy's going to kill you. Don't let this guy touch you. If this guy touches you, you die. Okay? Just keep it tight and make sure you don't move anywhere down. These are your 2 tiles. When you're in this situation, It's this tile, and you just shoot this guy. Because we can't pull this guy any closer. We have to shoot him from this point. We can't rotate this way because the Manticore's all up in our grill. We can't do anything about that. You could off-take this guy, but then if you kill this guy, the Major comes down. And now you're off-taking a Major and a Ranger if they get off-ticked. But you're probably not going to get that lucky. You can finagle it, but I'm not going to count on you to do that. No offense to you, but it's just not going to happen. So what you're going to do is put your buff on, stick to these 2 tiles, and shoot this guy. That's it. Keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple, comma, stupid. Just keep that in mind. Anytime you're doing anything, keep it simple. There's no you don't need to do all this crazy shit that you see people doing. Okay, you don't need to do a Z-stack. You don't need to do off-ticks. You don't need to do any of that. You keep it simple. Keep it easy. Keep it chill. That's what we're here for. This is what you have to do when you're doing Fremmies under pressure. I didn't execute this very well, but you have a couple options here. You can control walk behind the pillar and flick this guy, or you can just stand there. You can just eat it. It's okay. You're going to make sure you have the prayer on. That's his first prayer. And you know how to flick a Manticore. I've told you how to do it. When the projectile fires, you cycle through. That's it. Keep it simple. Cycle through. You can control walk here. In your in-game settings, if you turn on toggle run, toggle walk, whatever that setting's called, put up a screenshot of it here. You can hold control with like your palm or whatever, and then just click, and you'll walk, and it buys you a lot of time. Okay? Reduces pressure of having to move from the Fremmies, and you can just walk back and forth, let the Fremmies walk with you. They won't hit you as long as you're walking. And then when you feel like you can kill them and you have the time, usually when this guy's recharging, you can attack your next guy. Just treat it like Jad, right? You see the attack, you flick the attack, you get another healer. You see the attack, you flick the attack, you get another healer. Treat it like that. Now, when you're doing this, keep in mind, your reinforcement timer is ticking, okay? So you're under a lot of pressure here. Finish this guy when you can. Mostly worry about these. And just eat the flick. If these guys damage you, whatever. It's fine. It doesn't matter. You're not going to die. Unless you have Doom. And keep flicking. You're good. We know reinforcements are coming in 15 seconds. We're just going to put on our Bofa and we're just going to start shooting. We know it's a mage and a melee. So what can we do? Even though we're on Northwest, we can, of course, do our best to mage block. Do I? I don't remember. So here's a prime example of why mage block doesn't always work on Northwest. Even if we put the major on spawn where it spawned, it wouldn't have made a difference. In fact, I think it would have just made this harder. Luckily, we're doing good damage to the Manticore. But I think it actually slotted in on the right tick there, so sometimes you get lucky and the Shaman slots itself in on the right tick. If the Manticore was still alive here, all you have to do is throw Protect Mage on when the Manticore's on cooldown, flick your Manticore, maybe you eat a Mage hit or 3 on the way out, on the way on this Manticore's death, and then you switch over here, you heal back up with your Guthans, right? Don't panic. You can tank a Shaman for a good amount of time, especially in Crystal. Like, you can tank a Shaman for a very long time if that's all that's on you. Don't panic. It's fine. All right. So, because of the reinforcement, here is our weird stack. So, what do we do here? What do we do here? So, you can actually standard off-tick this, but I wanted to show you a DESTACK. So, if you did standard off-tick, you just go to the middle of the pillar and you just go over and it'd be fine. Except I think you just have to, I don't know, it's not standard. You'd have to reverse standard. Because when you run out, this guy's going to see you first because he's already over here in line of sight. He can already see you, but this guy has to then drag over. So, this would see you first, then this. Regardless, I'm going to show you a DESTACK. Shaman is only 10 tiles. 3, 6, 9, 10. So it can't see me unless it moves up 1 tile. So I'm going to go to this tile right here. I'm going to move around away from this ranger out here to pull this guy down. Try to flick to protect mage. I miss it by a single tick because I'm slow and I'm old. So you go to right here. Shaman gets dragged. You should be protecting magic already. I don't know why I didn't. I'm just slow. And there you go. And now it's destacked. And now this wave is completely solvable, super free. Okay. Manticore and a Ranger. Pretty standard off-stick here. We do have a mob stuck in the back here. So, what you can do here on Northwest Pillar, because this rarely ever happens on Southwest for what it's worth, is another reason why some people like Northwest, is that you get mobs stuck on this pillar a lot of the time, and it simplifies your stacks. So, it lets you RNG into that free soul. But regardless, this is a standard stack. All we're going to do here is move out, flick the Ranger. So again, thing in the back, thing in the front. From against the pillar, in the middle, thing in the back, thing in the front. Always works like this. As long as you rotate the correct direction, always works like this. And I told you before, the correct rotates on both pillars, and where to start and all that good stuff before these clips started. So I'm going to show you 2 ways to do this. If you have a BOFA, you can go to where I'm going, because if you have a solar flare on, this would be your like anti-solar flare tile. So I just went to that and showed you that you can shoot from safety right here if you want to do it that way, or you can do a melee solve, but again, it's just thing in the back, thing in the front. So right here, thing in the back, thing in the front. Cool. We have solar flare on, so we're just going to stand here on the BOFA tile. Thing in the back, thing in the front. Now, Manticores, remember, are on a 10-tick cycle. So while this thing is recharging, you need to make sure you're still protecting from the thing in the back. And if I freed this Major right here, I make sure I don't step one more tile out. Because if I step one more tile out, this guy's going to drag around, and it's going to make this way, 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 way worse for me. So you always want to stay in this like safety box right here, behind the pillar, anywhere behind the pillar, and anywhere here will make sure you are safe within these tiles. The moment you go to this side of the pillar, anything over here is freed and makes this way worse for you. So this is your safe BOFA tile. You just stay flicking right here. If you have to move from the Javelin, you can either go here or here. Usually you want to go here because of your solar flare, so you can just use these 2 tiles for your BOFA safety. If you're meleeing, you know what to do. Just stick to these 2 tiles probably when you're meleeing. You do not ever want to cross that. Do not cross this line, because this guy will get freed and it makes your life miserable. So there's the mortar. I just ran back so I could show you guys the melee solve now. I wait for the solar flare to come 1 tile before me, and then I move out, because I'm going to skip over this tile. It's not going to hit me, and then it's going to take my place. So you see that? It took my place, and I went over it, so I don't get hit by the solar flare. We're going to do thing in the back, thing in the front. Easy as. Then you just solve it from here. Again, the Major's still stuck. As long as we don't cross this line, the Major's going to stay stuck. The only problem we have to deal with is solar flare. If you end up taking any damage, Guthan Spear tech, okay? You can just kind of sit here, and then Guthan Spear is going to heal you to full off of like any ranger. Because we're on Frailty 2, we have 80 HP maximum. The Guthan Spear tech gets us right up to 80 HP in no time. Joink. It literally... Damage in Colosseum doesn't matter, I promise. Okay. In this clip, I want you to recognize your safety, okay? Do not panic. You don't need to panic all the time. Don't be running around. It's textbook. Every wave is textbook. Okay, the Fremmies are going to spawn. You're going to deal with the Fremmies. If there is one mob attacking you, just chill. Protect from the mob that's attacking you. Kill the Fremmies, then solve the wave. Let's see. All right, we have immediately pressured by the Major, so we need to protect Mage. I also want to reiterate, this is your default safe tile. Why? It's blocking LOS from this Ranger. Let's go back. The reason I say always go to this tile, let's say I just ran like right here, or right here. Inevitably, the Ranger is going to see me, because one of 2 things is going to happen. If we stay here, this Ranger is going to line up right here and block this side of the pillar, meaning this Ranger will doink into him and slide down and start attacking us, as well as the Major. So what do? I recognize my safety. I put on Protect Mage. I go stand in my corner over here, because this guy's southwest tile, you see this tile right here? It wants to line up with me. So it's going to come over here, it's not going to build a wall, and it's going to allow this guy and this guy to slot in nicely and make a nice little stack while I solve my shit over here. And I wait. I don't move out and try to get this Berserker. I don't try to get my extra hit there or something, because if I drag over here, again, I'm going to build that wall, and I'm going to make this a little bit more annoying for myself. Obviously, if this guy drags down and he's off-ticked, doesn't really matter. You can just solve it off-tick, but you have to recognize that it's off-tick. And if you're doing your first quiver, you might not recognize that because you're going to be panicking. So all you have to do here, control-click down to here, solve your Fremmies. It's easy. It's textbook. This is nothing, all right? It's Berserker into an SGS that was probably unnecessary. Then we just shoot this guy with the Adladdle. Look at our stack over here. It's completely fine. What am I going to do here? I have a couple of options. I'm on Myo 1, which means I can switch to my Bofa and just shoot this guy. Alternate number 2 is to check the Manticore now. No real reason to check Manticore now. We have 20 seconds to kill this Major. Majors have 125 HP. They're very squishy. They fall over in seconds. So what do? By default, regardless, it's good habit to go to your safe tile, to LOS break these guys, and force drag them into your 4-tile range. Do you see this? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's almost like they designed it with this in mind. If you have a 10-tile range weapon and Myopia 3, we only have 1 in this case, but it's still good habit to form. Going to this tile drags them into Myopia 3 range for your Bofa, so you can attack them from here, here, and here. I don't believe here anymore. But these 3 tiles are more than enough to attack this mob and be safe from basically everything. You got your Solar Flare safety tile, your back and forth. For if there's a Minotaur over here, you can still use both of these tiles. And if there's a melee here, you can use both of these tiles. Now, if you have a melee over here and like a Manticore over here, things can get a little frisky, and you have Solar Flare going, things get a little frisky, but very, very rare that that's going to happen. And you could just shoot the melee, like it's not a big deal. Anyway, point stands. Bofa makes this nice and simple. I immediately go to my Solar Flare safe tile, and I just start shooting this guy. Now, I know that reinforcements are going to come at 40 seconds, and I know we have a Minotaur. Do I care? Not really. But what I'm going to do, regardless, is I'm going to Minotaur block. I'm going to build the wall, right? I'm going to build the wall. So the Minotaur is going to hit the wall, and it's going to drag down to me, and I want it to stick on this side of the pillar, and I want to stick it right here on these tiles. If it comes down here, it's going to punch me in the head. I don't want it to punch me in the head. So I'm going to operate on these 6 tiles. I'm going to use these 6 tiles to operate because I know the Minotaur cannot come into my jurisdiction, which is these 6 tiles, and I'm not going to shoot this guy unless I'm on one of these 2 tiles. So we just let the Minotaur drag on in, and we just shoot this guy. Again, you don't have to do this with the Bofa. I could have easily rotated over here with Protect Range on. The Manticore would have started charging, and the Mage would have pulled up right here into melee range, and it would have been fine. But I want to teach you good habits. I want to teach you what you should be recognizing before you just go and click buttons, okay? Make sure you're thinking about things before you click buttons. Make sure you realize all of the things that you have at your disposal. Recognize your safety. Use it to your advantage. Don't make something harder than it needs to be, okay? This is about as hard as it needs to be. This is a wave 8. Wave 8's a pretty hard wave. This is a pretty free spawn, though. If we had, like, Ranger, Major, Double South, like, close, this would have been a different story. This would have been a little bit spooky. But what do you do in that case? You just rotate to the side of the pillar, let the Manticore charge up. You go to the center of the pillar, right? The center tile against the pillar. And then what do? Thing in the back, thing in the front. And you would go this way. You would be able to do that on Northwest Pillar, and you would be totally fine. Okay, so here's what we're going to do with this stack. So we have Double Ranger and a Manticore. What do? So first thing I always like to do is check my Manticores. Reason being is if it's range first, we can just same tick everything, and it doesn't matter. And then if it's Mage first, you can still solve the stack, but you could also just rotate, you could destack, you do a bunch of things. But all I like to do first, check my Manticore. It starts charging. Okay, it's range first. Cool. So I still want to get my example. Because it's range first, you can just same tick everything. I'm going to show you how to do that now. Checking rotation, and I'm like, okay, so we can same tick everything. Here's the example. You just go adjacent to the pillar, right? You stay on this line. If you come out from right here, everything is same ticked. If you come out from here, you're forcing things to move, okay? That's why they become off ticked, because you're forcing them to move to realign to get LOS. When you go from here, you're not forcing anything to realign. It's already aligned with you. It's going to move with you because you're walking, and it's going to be same ticked. So if it's a range first Manticore and a Ranger in the front, you just go adjacent to the pillar, same ticket, flick through the Manticore, then back to range. And then when you see the Ranger swing, you flick through the Manticore, and you're good to go. Now, if this was Mage first, I'm going to show you what I would do or recommend to do for a new player. Instead of having to deal with the flick or whatever it is that you're not confident in doing, you can just do an easy rotate. And whenever you rotate, you're pretty much always just going to flick through the Manticore and then go back to Prey Mage or Prey Range, whatever the most threatening thing in the wave is. This realigns the things to block this side of the pillar, and then this guy will be on this side of the pillar. And then if this was a Major, if this was a Ranger, and these two are Manticores, it's the same thing. The two things in the front will always align to this part, and the thing in the back will always align to this part. Okay? So if you ever need to rotate, that's just how it works. And you'll even see it with the like bigger stacks. So if you had two things in the front, a thing right here, and a thing behind that even further, they call it a cock stack. If you have one of those, when you rotate, it'll be these two things at the front, and then the two things in the back will also come this way. But these will destack in a way where they will be sort of in a box. So you have to stay over here for a second, and then you just let them file in, and you can kill this side if you want, or you can go back over here and it's fine. But those are your two options in that situation. Whenever you have two things in the front and then one or two things in the back, you can either rotate, or you can figure out the solve on your own, which is in the description below. There's plenty of solves. So here's a nice example of Mage Block on Northwest not really doing anything for you realistically. Thankfully, this Shaman fell on a tick that was good for me. So as you can see, he has fallen on this tick, which is good because it's one of the Manticore's two empty ticks. We always want the Shaman to either be on the tick of the attack, on the magic attack of the Manticore, or we want to be having it on the outside of the active ticks so that we can protect Mage and then cycle through the Manticore and this guy's not attacking us. We want it to be on the empty ticks. So you'll see he's on the empty ticks. I forgot to switch to protect magic fast enough after that, so I'm going to tank this one. Again, this is like recognizing your safety. I don't have to do anything here. I just keep flicking. If I tank a Shaman, whoops, you know. But he fell on a good tick. And then all you have to do is let him drag down, and then it's fine. You just kill the Shaman, shoot the Manticore, or shoot the Minotaur, whatever you want to do. Now, if this happens, we have two in the front, one in the back, and the Minotaur is stuck. You see this Minnow drag tile? I wonder what that's for. Now, the reason this is completely safe is because the Manticore is uncharged. Whenever you have uncharged Manticores, realize what your options are, okay? This is going to open up rotates. This is going to open up destacks, like super easy things that you can do, like this, to pull the Minotaur around and get yourself back to safety. So from here, you can either do a no prayer AFK buffa kill, or you can put on your melee gear if you need to heal up, whatever you need to do. Alright, another situation. We have two uncharged Manticores and a Serpent Shaman. Oh, what do I do? The thing behind this pillar is going to get freed. We're on a wave 11, so this is our sole attempt. We're going to free this guy, and he's going to come around, and we're going to kill him from over here. This is going to let our Manticores charge. It doesn't realistically matter what this mob is, because it's going to get blocked, and it's going to be behind both of these Manticores. If we can same ticket, cool. If we have to off ticket, no biggie. Doesn't really matter what this is. We just have to make sure we get out of range of it after we're done destacking. So we're going to go to this tile. When our true tile hits this tile, we're going to immediately start running back and kill him like normal. So he's Mage first. So realistically, I very well could have checked the Manticore, right? If I had checked the Manticore and known that it was Mage first, we would have just been able to same tick everything, and it would have been no problem. But because I didn't do that, and I destacked it, I actually made the stack harder for myself. So definitely worth considering in that situation. If it was range first Manticore, then you could have destacked, because you don't actually tank the Major when you destack like this. So it was probably better in hindsight to check the Manticore first. But does it actually matter? No, because we're so tanky and we can always just rotate to this pillar. This is why Northwest is like super brain dead RNG pillar. You can just rotate like 90% of the time and it makes your wave super, super giga easy. Not that you can't do that on Southwest, it's just not as common to rotate on Southwest. And the reason why it's less common to rotate on Southwest is because usually you can solve all your stacks. We'll talk about Southwest in a moment. But this just becomes a standard solve, and we use the Good Spear to immediately get to full HP. Cool. Alright, we're at Sol all of a sudden. Why am I showing you Sol? Before we talk about him, I just want to show you what's going to happen if you click Doom 2. Oh, I doomed. Fuck. I knew that was going to kill me. I was going to drag him right there, dude. That's what's going to happen when you click Doom 2. You're just going to forget that you have it, and then you're going to explode. And it happens. It happens to us all. It's fine. The soul was super dead. I just completely ignored the fact that I had Doom, and I stepped on a solar flare twice. Okay, Wave 6 Northwest Pillar. We keep coming back here. Sometimes things can get a little bit weird, and you need to recognize what you can do. So, we have a couple of options here because we have the Bofa. So because we have Myo 3, we actually can't stand at the corner and shoot the ranger over here with the Bofa. But in the case that you do not have Myo 3, if you're on Myo 1 or 2, you would just be able to step away from the pillar by about 2 tiles, right behind where my mouse was there, and you'd be able to shoot the ranger with the Manticore not being able to see you. It does see you in Myo range, so if you're 4 tiles away from the ranger there, it will see you in this instance. So rotating was actually a fairly reasonable thing to do here. All we have to do is Brain Dead Rotate. Look at this Brain Dead Rotate on Northwest Pillar. The classic Brain Dead Rotate on Northwest Pillar. I'm assessing my options here. When you have a stack like this, make sure you assess your options. Don't just like rip something. Think about it for like 2 minutes. It's fine. Nothing's happening. You're not burning any supplies. You're not sitting. You're going to lose like some time on your super combat, but you get infinity of those anyway. So my decision was, I'm just going to run out. I'm going to flick through the Manticore, and it is what it is. Let's see how this goes for me. You'll see I turn on Piety because that makes us tankier. Wow, I took 27 damage to rotate the pillar. I'm going to put on my Guthan Spear, and I'm going to get back to 90 HP, 99 HP, and not even worry about it. So, whoop-de-doo. Cool, Brain Dead Rotate. Good job. Usually, this is like your default, I don't know what to do, Brain Dead Rotate. If you don't know what to do, Brain Dead Rotate, flick the Manticore, you're fine. All right, so this is a nice Wave 7. Let me show you. This is what's going to happen when you see this. All right, Beast Atomic Red Flag. What did that say? No! Well, the run's over. There you go. So right here, the solve for this is click Claim and leave and try again. Because none of these perks are, none of these invocations, as we discussed before, are things that you can take. You're just not allowed to do that. So you just leave. You don't even think about it. You're just like, well, that is what it is, and you leave. All right, so here's another standard off-tick example. Again, you're in the center tile against the pillar, thing in the back, thing in the front. I always kill mages first because they're squishy and you can just get them out of the way. 125 HP. You basically never miss on them, even though I just missed. But I missed again because I don't have a defender on. Okay. Standard off-ticks are very simple. You just go up against the center of the pillar, thing in the back, thing in the front. Very, very, very simple. That's all it is every single time. And I showed you how to rotate before this. So, you got this. I believe in you. Okay, this looks very terrifying, doesn't it? But something very interesting happens here. It's still going to be thing in the back, thing in the fronts. Okay? So, thing in the back is always your priority for first tick. And then the 2 things in the front here are going to be the next tick. So, this would be really stinko if we had a range first Manticore. But because it's a Mage first Manticore, these 2 things will be on the same tick, the Major and the Manticore. And the Ranger back here is going to be off-ticked. So we can still do a standard solve here. This only becomes stinky if this guy is range first. But then what can we do if he's range first? You guessed it. Brain Dead Rotate, baby. Flick through the Manticore and then go back to Prey Mage and then you rotate the pillar. But we don't have to do that. This is a standard off-tick. And standard off-ticks, I know you can do it. It's very simple. Thing in the back, things in the front. Don't know why I forgot to mention you have to be 1 tile away from the pillar for this one. Very simple. So that's the off-tick, and then I show you the alternative. If you are scared, right? You're scared to do that. You're scared to go range, mage, range, melee, back to range. Back to mage, back to range, mage, range, melee. Like that off-tick is a little bit spooky, because you have to remember that these 2 things will not attack on the same time every single time. These 2 things are still going to be off-ticked. So it would be range, mage, range, melee, back to range, back to mage, back to range, mage, range, melee, back to range, back to mage, back to range, Mage, range, melee. So it's a weird stack, right? It's a little bit weird. Your brain's going to have to, you know, fire a couple more neurons than normal to do this one. But if you don't like that, or you're scared, or this was a range first Manticore, let me show you what you do. Brain dead rotate. Look how much damage I'm about to take. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I forgot to click protect magic. Doink. Oh, I took 13 damage. No! How will I ever recover? Colosseum is a joke, okay? Any damage is not real. If the damage doesn't kill you, it doesn't exist. You can be full HP at the beginning of every wave. It's so goofy, okay? It's so goofy. Damage doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. Tank to your heart's content. And then we just both solve this because we can get out of the way of Solar Flare. Cool. Okay, so let's do some Southwest examples, and let me show you why Southwest is goated. This is the only situation where Southwest is a little bit annoying, because it's the Shaman in the front and the Javelin in the back. The only way we can off-tick this stack is to go this way. We have to rotate this way, which means we have to get rid of this guy, and then we can rotate this way, but we have to deal with reinforcements. So, you cannot rotate this way to deal with this stack, which is very annoying. Same thing on Northwest Pillar. You have to rotate the other direction. Very annoying. This stack is just weenie bad. Only on this side of the pillar, though. I'll show you later what happens when it's on the eastern sides of the pillar. So I know that reinforcements are coming. I'm not going to kill this thing in time. If you can tell, 35 seconds to do 180 damage, that's not going to happen. We have 5 seconds. So what I have to do is wait for the melee to come. And I'm like, all right, this off tick, this is fine. I've done this before. Right? I forced myself to tank here. Now, what you realistically should do every single time here, when the melee spawns, all you have to do is go to a tile where the meleeer will be off-ticked with the ranger and kill the meleeer. That's pretty much it. So we would have had the time, if I'm not mistaken. Meleeer spawns. This guy attacks. This guy attacks. We could have stood right here, let the meleeer hit us, kill the melee, and off-tick these. But you have to recognize that in the moment and do it. Will that happen every time? No. So what do? You go with the tank option. We're going to go over here with Protect Range on, and we're just going to... Or Protect Mage on, and we're going to try and kill the Shaman. The alternative here was to Protect Magic and let the Ranger hit us. Or sorry, Protect Range and let the Shaman hit us. Because its max hit is like a 24, 26, something like that. Somewhere in the mid-20s. So on average, it's probably going to hit us like a 10 or something. So it was probably a better idea to just let the Shaman hit us here. But that's 20/20 hindsight. So we get 29 by the Ranger. 0, very good. Mortar, very good. Make sure we don't miss our tick. 32. And a 38. Okay, well, we could have tick 8 that, just click yellow, and it would have been fine. But it is what it is. It happens. No big deal. Okay, we have a wave 7 on Southwest Pillar. So the same concept applies. You can see we're starting from this tile and we're running to our safe tile. It's just mirrored, right? So this would be our starting tile on Northwest, and then we just run here. It's mirrored over here. So we start here and we run here. Immediately we have a double south. In quotes. It's a double north on Southwest Pillar, but it's a double south. We do not need to fear this. Okay? Watch. We tank a range hit. We have to. There's double on the first... On the spawn, they're both same ticks. We can't do anything. We recognize that we have a Manticore, so we flick through it. We got hit by all the Fremmies. Doesn't matter. SGS. Doink. Flick through the Manticore. Back to Prey Mage. Solve this. Take my time. Don't panic. It's fine. Flick through that one more time. Now we can just go to the center of the pillar and do thing in the back, thing in the front. Bada bing, bada boom. And now the wave is solved. You could build the wall. I didn't risk it. It's not really risky. You can just let the Minotaur come in. And then all you have to do from there is kill the Ranger, rotate, kill the Minotaur, rotate, kill the Ranger, kill the Manticore. It's done. There's like 15 ways to solve that wave, and they're all fine. All right, wave 8 Southwest. You ready for another double north spawn? Here we go. Boom. All right, we have double north spawn. Incredibly pressured spawn here. Very pressured immediately. We're going to be tanking something. I should have immediately went to Protect Magic instead of going for the Fremenic Berserker. I should have went for Protect Magic because I'm going to be taking I'm going to be taking a magic hit from this guy. But I don't, right? Protecting range means I tank both of these rangers. I'm always more scared of a Shockwave, right? The ranger, I'm assuming I tank one of these and take like a 30 from the other. But the major, big doinks and Amish, 45 into the 18 off rip. Ouch. Okay? Rangers could have just killed me, probably. Now, this doesn't happen if I just get behind the pillar immediately and I don't worry about trying to get the Berserker, whatever. It happens, oh well. I also now recognize that Manticore is Mage first. Don't love that for me. Should be dead here. Step out because I'm panicking. Okay? This was the moment he fucked up. All I had to do this wave. Prevent panic by just knowing what you're supposed to do, which is click the center tile, thing in the back, thing in the front, go to the side of the pillar, finish your Fremmies, go to the center tile, thing in the back, thing in the front, and come back this way. This is why Southwest is good. Okay? If you recognize that you can just go to the center tile, rotate this way, do whatever over here, kill your Fremmies, you can kill this if you want, but the reinforcements are coming. Go to the center tile, rotate back this way. It is that simple. That's it. All you have to do on South... This is the hardest thing you have to do on Southwest Pillar. Rotate, finish your Freminics, get this off tick, click the center tile, rotate back. That's it. Very, very simple to solve this wave. But instead, I just run around like a chicken, and I go and tank another mage hit. Somehow, I would have lived, but then the Manticore hit me at the same time, and I died. So all you need to do is just... Colosseum is just recognition of what you can do in the moment. And our brains just betray us sometimes, because you can easily go back in a clip like that and be like, oh my god, I'm so dumb. So I also recommend you do that. Record your attempts, okay? Record your attempts. It's very important. So again, double north spawn. We have 2 Manticores. That's pretty scary, isn't it? No, not really. We can just rotate over here with Protect Magic, or Protect Range on. We go ahead and spec our dude to get all of our HP back. Throw a dart at this guy. And then we can just rotate to the other side of the pillar and kill the Manticores. You know, it's truly that simple. But I was boosted down, so my Ladle didn't 2-shot that guy. Whoops. Doesn't matter. Deal with Manticores. Cool. Alright, so this wave, I had re-entry, because that was my only option to go into this wave 10. This wave 10 is pretty cool. Let me show you how to mage block. Here's reinforcements. I'm going to tank a range hit here because I wasn't quite quick enough. Once you see the animation of the Shaman, you can usually move out of the way. I just stayed a little bit too long, so I ended up tanking a range hit here, I believe. But it's fine. And now the wave is pretty much solved. So that's why mage block is really cool. So the next thing I want to show you on Southwest Pillar is something called the Shaman Shuffle. So I noticed that the Ranger is coming down. He's going to be the thing that I'm tanking. Cool, I'm dealing with my Freminics. But I also see that the Shaman right here is in front of my Manticore, right? Shaman's in front of both my Manticores on this wave 6. So I was like, well, what the heck is that about? So I'm going to go up against the pillar. I'm going to line everybody up, and then I'm going to move. Once everybody's lined up, for some reason, this is how this works on east side of the pillar. I don't know why it works like this on east side of the pillar and not north side of the pillar. Doink. For some reason, the mobs just destack themselves. I don't know why. I still couldn't tell you why. LOS or the Southwest brain because of one tile. I don't know, dude. That's just RuneScape for you. Just wanted to make sure I showed you that because it's pretty important. Again, standard optic on Southwest Pillar. Nothing really changes here. Yeah, thing in the back, thing in the front from the center of pillar. Literally the same thing as Northwest. Okay, really terrifying. We have a Ranger into 2 Manticores. But hey, guess what? The Manticores are ranged first. So what can we do? Same tick the world, baby. So you just go adjacent to the pillar and you flick through everything. And just make sure you don't forget to flick the Manticore after the Ranger. And make sure you don't go back to protect from range like I did for some reason right there. But yeah, this is always simple. If you have Manticores with the same attack style as the thing in the front or the back of the stack, then you can just same tick everything. It's fine. Literally no big deal. Okay. So, again, on Southwest Pillar, Wave 10, we had another double-pressured Manticore spawn. But what did we do? We properly rotated. We recognized that we have 2 Rangers on this side of the pillar, 2 Manticores on this side of the pillar. Very simple to just take our Freminics to this side of the pillar, kill them off while we're just tanking some range hits, rotate back to this side of the pillar, and just flick through double Manticores. And the way double Manticores works is they'll always off-tick themselves. So you just have to cycle through them. I think it's like 2 ticks in between each cycle that you have to do. But you just, same thing, you're just flicking 2 Manticores. It's really not that big of a deal. Next, we know that the Shaman's spawning, so we need to move into a Mage block. But we don't do it in time. This is what happens if you don't do the Mage block in time. Okay, if you do the Mage block in time, like had I have been just standing here in the first place, worst case, I'm going to tank a Shaman hit. But best case, I'm still off-ticking both of these and shooting them with a Bofa and doing damage. And I'm already pre-prepped to do Mage block. But I was late. And if you're late, this ends up happening, which is really, really bad. Because if this guy's on the wrong tick, you're going to be tanking him, and there's nothing you can really do to fix it except Prage by moving over here and dragging him on the right tick. But because you're tanking 2 Manticores, it's really hard to slot this guy onto the right tick. Forget to flick a Manticore. You see how he's on the wrong tick? There's nothing we can do about it. He's on the 3rd tick of both of their attacks, so we just go down. So if you don't Mage block in time, really, really sad. But truthfully, that should never happen. You should always be able to Mage block, because absolute worst case is you just tank a Shaman hit. This is the worst case. Like, you can just keep flicking the things over here and just stand here like a bozo and just tank a Shaman hit. Like, whatever. You're going to take like a 20 and you'll be back on your merry way. Like I said, damage doesn't matter unless it kills you in here, okay? So, here again, we know that the reinforcements are here and I need to rotate. But I was on this tile and I recognized that I was on the wrong tile. So, here's what we do to solve. I was like, whoa, 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 don't do that. Wrong tile. And then I flick back. So I ended up taking an additional range hit there. But again, it's not going to kill me to take a range hit because I messed up. Worst case, I tank a 40, and now I'm over here with 51 HP with a Blood Fury equipped, attacking a Manticore completely safe. Because I know I did the off-tick correctly, and this guy can't do anything, and I don't have Solar Flare fucking me up. Okay? This is why Southwest Pillar is super, super nice, because you can always, always rotate to the other side of the pillar that you need to be on for safety. So, this stack is like pee-pee poo-poo caca bad. So, the best thing we can do here is drag our melee friend out, but we can't drag our melee friend out because if we move out here, we're tanking the world. We don't want to tank the world when we get our melee friend out. So, if we go to this side of the pillar and go to this tile that I have marked way over here, we can actually destack the guy that's furthest back in the stack here. This only works if you have a triple stack. If you only have a double stack, everything is going to be in range of you. You can't do anything about it unless it's a Serpent Shaman. But usually a Serpent Shaman doesn't need to be destacked. There's probably a better solve. For instance, if the Shaman's back here and there's a Ranger here, you can move out here, let the Ranger hit you, move immediately in, and the Shaman will be on the next tick after that, and you just reverse flick the stack. Not a big deal, but in this case, I'm going to tell you to destack because this is a Z solve. Because what's going to happen, if you recall earlier, we had, what was it, Mage first Manticore, Ranger, and it was just thing in the back, thing in the front. But the thing that I said happened, happened. The thing that I said could happen, happened. So we have a Mage first Manticore, which means thing in the back, things in the front, that doesn't work. So what we would have to do is a Z-solve. Z-solve is weenie poopy bad. I'm not going to make you do that for a first quiver. So you're going to do the easy thing and you're going to destack. And I'm going to show you how much damage you're going to take when you destack, okay? Wow. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I don't know if I could do that again. That was like really difficult. Maybe so difficult that a caveman could do it, okay? Keep it simple, stupid. All right? You don't need to do all the bullshit Z-stack, triple off, take fucking, you know, shut up. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. Is it impressive? Yeah, good job. Did you need to do it at all? Nope. It's like doing a backflip through a window. Yeah, like, that was impressive, but you didn't need to do that, you know? Anyway, here's another double North spawn. We are under pressure, but we're not, because this is a Manticore. Remember, Manticores are kind at the beginning of the wave. They're really nice. They let you think. They let stacks settle on the other side of the pillar, and they let you think. They give you a reprieve, okay? So I realize that it's double North, but I'm not scared. And then I realized that it's Ranger first. So I'm like, oh, joyous day. Joyous day it is. And then I missed my Mage Flick because I'm stupid. But it's fine. I know that I'm totally good. And I can just go to this side of the pillar, smack this guy for a second, and then go back to the other side of the pillar and flick through him. Because I want to be on this side of the pillar pretty much always because I'm going to need to Mage block. So what do? I'm going to put my buff on. I'm going to flick through this thing real quick. Don't mess myself up. I'm going to flick through this thing. I'm going to get ready to Mage block. I'm going to move in. I'm going to protect magic. Doink. I get doinked because I protected magic in my full crystal. What I should have done is made sure I was in my full tank before I decided to do that, or just left protect range on and tank the shaman. Just tank the shaman. It's okay. Literally just eat a shaman hit. It's 20 damage, bro. Just eat the shaman hit. But regardless, the point stands. Go into the mage block tile, eat the shaman hit. Just eat it. It's fine. Click mage block, eat the shaman hit. Don't worry about it. And now we're mage blocked, and everything is fine. All you need to do now is operate on these 4 tiles. Because if you step down here, big man gonna punch you in the dome. If you step right here or right here, big man gonna punch you in the dome. So make sure you're just operating on these 4 tiles. Very simple. And here I'm just showing you that after we kill the Manticore, we can just bofa solve the rest of the wave. Because this, what we could do here is be in our melee gear and then off-tick the Minotaur and the Javelin Colossus. But we don't need to do that. We can just keep it simple, stupid, and shoot this guy. Yo, did anyone realize how brewed down I was there? Holy shit. Hold on, give me my timeline. Look at this. It was minus 29. Why didn't I just click this twice? What am I doing with my life? Anyway, I guess I just forgot to click restore. Oh, there I go. Okay, good job. Good job, me. All right, so here, 38 seconds. We're flicking a Manticore because this is how our stack settled. What am I going to do? Shout out settled. What am I going to do when the reinforcements spawn? I was like, oh, I'm late. I lost track of time. But I quickly go to mage block. Let's see what happens. It's literally saved. Literally saved in the nick of time. So we get our mage block off. And guess what? We're on wave 11. Because we just did that mage block and we simplified everything that was going on here, we immediately have a soul attempt on our hands. Very cool. Southwest Pillar W. And again, if you don't like Solar Flare, you can just stand right here, keep flicking this guy, and shoot it with a bofa. Stand right here, shoot him with a bofa. Whatever you want to do. It's fine. Okay, this happens a lot on Northwest Pillar, this situation. So, right here, we have a bunch of bullshit on this side of the pillar. Our reinforcement spawned. I just waited. I saw that this was bullshit, so I stood here, I built the wall, and I let this stuff come down to me. I knew that I didn't need to mage block. It's totally fine because I can just use my bofa and shoot the Minotaur behind the Shaman. No big deal. So we can get both of these guys dead, and then we just have to deal with the cock stack. What do we do here? What's the move? I'm going to give you guys one guess. There's a reason you're bringing in full Guthans and a DFS, okay? There's a reason. What's the reason? This. I don't know what to do. I'm going to click Brain Dead tile. I'm going to flick through my Manticores. I'm going to go back to Protect Magic so I can tank the Ranger. Oh my god, I'm going to take so much damage. Look at this. Oh my god, I took no damage. Colosseum is a joke. Okay? It's a joke. You can do this shit all the time. It's so funny. It's so goofy. You just get really tanky. You can rotate. You just protect magic, flick through your Manticores. The end. The end. The thing that's going to kill you is not paying attention to your reinforcement timer and panicking on a double south spawn or double north spawn, depending on what pillar you choose. But now it's easy. We can just same take this side of the pillar and yeah, we're off to the races. I'm just going to shoot everything. Cool. The end. All right, time to talk about Sol Heredit. This is a sloppy run, and I want it to be a sloppy run. I'm glad it's a sloppy run. I have a better run than this. I don't want to use it as footage. I want to use this run as the footage because it shows the mistakes that most people are going to make and what exactly those mistakes are and how we can avoid them. So let's talk about Sol Heredit for a second. The first thing that's going to happen every single time you fight Sol, he's going to start charging an attack and you're going to step one tile back. The next solution will always be step 1 tile back diagonally. That is how Sol will open every single time, no matter what. So if you have Quartet, you can attack Sol, step back, shoot your dude, and know exactly what the solve is for the next one. If he walks up to you or you walk up to him, you know that the first two solutions will always be step 1 tile back and then step 1 tile back diagonally. Always. It makes Quartet completely free going into Sol. Don't have to worry about it. You know exactly what's going to happen. You know exactly how to solve it every single time. 1 tile back, then 1 tile back diagonally. Solves every single time. There will not be another solution. Okay? What we have here, let's explain the arena. This is our box. We have to stay in our box. These boxes are your guardrails for Solar Flare. If you are in the box, it is a box of safety. Very good. If you are 1 tile on the outside of the box, you are in Solar Flare's range. But you'll remember when I was talking about Solar Flare, you can kind of just tank it a lot of the time. I do have Solar Flare 3 on, so yes, my prayers will get removed, so I'm being a little bit wary of it. So what I'm going to do instead is make sure I keep Sol under control. So how do we do that? Well, we know that he can do Spear 1, Spear 2, Shield 1, and Shield 2. If he stacks his attacks, that is what will advance the attack, right? So if he goes Spear 1 and then Spear again, you know it's going to be Spear 2. And it will never count higher than that. It will just start over. So it will go Spear 1, Spear 2, Spear 1, Spear 2. And that's just how it works. If he mixes in Shield, it is the same rule. If he does it twice in a row, it will advance to the next attack that he has. Shield 1 into Shield 2. But it cannot go higher. It will go back to Shield 1. Now, he can also alternate. If he is alternating, it will be Spear 1, Shield 1, Spear 1, Shield 1, so on and so forth. He has to repeat the attack for it to change the pattern. Okay? If he's not repeating the attack, the pattern will not change. You can just step 1 tile back for Spear 1 and 1 tile back for Shield 1. Now, Spear 1 looks like this, which is just a simple step back and then attack Sol. Spear 2 looks like this, which is a simple step back diagonally in either direction and attack Sol again. Shield 1 looks like this, which is simply step back 1 tile in any direction. So, diagonally, back 1, whatever you want to do. Shield 2 looks like this, which is just a ring pushed 1 tile further out than Shield 1. So you have to run 2 tiles out in whichever direction you so choose. Now, there are many ways to deal with Sol's attacks. Obviously, the first way is to just remember what he has done previously to know what is coming up next and how to solve it. It's going to feel fast, but I promise it's not very fast. You can just track what he does, just remember what's coming, and respond. Some people like to do, not prediction, but like, I don't even know what to call it. Like, you know the solutions for both attacks depending on what it would be. So if he does Spear 1, you know the next 2 attacks would be Spear 2 and Shield 1. It's going to be one of those. And the solution to both of those is to step back diagonally 1 tile. So some people will calculate it like that, where they know both of the solutions to the next possible attacks and do the overlapping solution to both attacks so they don't have to think about it. If that doesn't work for you, then you can just track it. All I do is track it. If he did Spear 1, I just respond. If he does Shield 1, I'm going to go 1 back, and if he does Spear 2, I'm going to go back diag. I just do it by solution. If I see Spear 1, 1 tile back. If I see Spear 2, 1 tile back diag. If I see Shield 1, 1 tile back. If I see Shield 2, 2 tiles back. That's how I do it. It's just reactive. That's what works for me. If it does not work for you, then you will find that out in the fight, and you'll be like, oh, that didn't work for me. The other thing that we can do is what we call the L tech. The L, or corner tech, is where you stand at Sol's corner. You move 2 tiles back and 1 tile out. So an L move outwards from Sol's corner. Regardless of where you are, it's always an L move outwards, like a knight. So 2 tiles back and then 1 tile out. You're making an L. And you're always moving outside of Sol. This movement will dodge everything except for shield 1. So if you struggle to keep track, then you can just do L move the entire fight except on shield 1. So you have to track when shield 1 is happening. If you can manage that, L move will be your friend. What I recommend is to use the L move as a tool rather than a permanent solution. Because the downside to L moving the whole time is you use up a lot of space and you need a lot of space to do it. So when your space gets eaten up by the puddles that spawn periodically throughout Sol's fight, then you'll find yourself in some predicaments. So instead of doing it the whole time, use it as a tool, okay? Either A, when you lose track of his attack cycle, you can go to L, or B, if you run out of space on your center tiles, you can go over to L and use those as well. So it saves you space in that sense. So you'll see me sort of mix and match these methods as we kill Sol. Those are his basic attacks. That's going to be the bulk of the fight. The next couple things that are going to happen are pretty simple. So the first thing is at his thresholds, I think it's like 70%, 50%, 30%, 15%. I don't know. I'll put the thresholds here on screen. I don't really pay attention to the thresholds. It's very obvious when he's going into the next phase, because he'll say something over his head like, you fight well, or suck my balls, or whatever he says over his head. And then the lightning will come down and leave a little puddle on the floor that if you stand on, you will take damage. So it's always going to put a lightning under you and then in random locations in your surrounding area. So what you can do is manipulate this when you know your thresholds, which are right here on screen. And what I mean by manipulate this is you can put the one that's guaranteed to spawn on you in a favorable location. So if you're like, man, I really like this corner method, when he's about to hit one of those thresholds, make sure you get off of your corner, right? Go to some other random tile, let him put down his thing, because he can't attack you in this moment. He's just going to put down the puddles everywhere, and then you can go back to your corner. You can go back to the timeout corner, okay? So try to pay attention to the thresholds. It's not that big of a deal, because what's usually going to happen is you're going to pull him over the puddles that he puts down, and you'll see me do that in the example kill here. All right, so that's just like his phase transition little move. This does not reset his attack number. His attack that he has chosen previously. It does not reset it, okay? The lightning coming down, the phase transition, does not reset his attack cycle. Does not. When he does his special attacks, it will reset his attack timer to Spear 1 or Shield 1. He will go back to the first attack in his cycle when he does a special attack. He has 2 of them. The first one is he's going to call out something. He's going to say, I'm going to go for the thing on your back, or I'm going to go for the thing on your feet, or I'll break your toes, or whatever he says, okay? You're going to go to your equipment tab, and you're going to click the equipment slot that he shouts out. Feet, back, legs, gloves? I don't remember the other side. Feet, back, leg, whatever he says, you're going to click that in your equipment slot. Now, if you time it right, when his hand starts launching towards you, okay, you will get what is called a perfect parry. If you do that, the next hits you do will have a guaranteed max hit and guaranteed accuracy. You can use that to your advantage to either Dragon Warhammer spec Sol, or get a big SGS spec to heal yourself up, or you can just keep slapping him with a whip. All right, that's probably what's going to happen because you're going to be a little bit too frazzled to go into your inventory and look for a spec weapon when you get a perfect parry, if you even get a perfect parry. Perfect parries are nice. Do not kill yourself trying to get the perfect parry, okay? You'll probably take about 40 some odd damage if you fail the parry. Make sure you zoom out to about the distance I am here, because it makes things a lot easier. If you are someone who plays with game chat on, there will be a notification in your game chat as well for the piece of equipment that he is shouting out. Okay? That's literally it. Whatever he shouts out, you just go click it in your equipment tab. Very simple. The next thing is the Protect Melee Tick Perfect parry. This one is going to be a little bit funky. This is the one that I see people struggle with the most. My biggest tip for you, when he does this, you're going to hear him go, "Whee!" And he's going to charge up the spear, and he's going to get a bunch of flashing, glowing lights on his spear. When you see all of the glow go into the tip of his spear, as in all the sparklies are gone, all right? All the power has accumulated into the tip, then you click Protect from Melee. I'm not going to tell you how many ticks apart it is because that's just going to confuse you, okay? Look at him charging it. When you see the particles dissipate and go into the tip, into the focal point of his spear, click Protect Melee, okay? That is what I do, and I get pretty much perfect the entire time. I like rarely ever fail that mechanic after I realized that. When I was trying to do like the, oh, it's a 3-tick, 4-tick, 3-tick, or like a 3-3-4 or whatever, it was messing me up because I can count ticks. Don't do that. Don't have the visual metronome on. Don't worry about it. It's a feeling. You're going to feel it, okay? For me, it was visual. Once those sparkles went into the tip of his spear, Protect Melee. And we will slow down and look at that right here on the screen. When those particles disappear, Protect Melee goes on. When he is below 50%, he will delay the last Protect Melee. So the cadence, if you found it early, will not be the same for the back half of the fight. Okay, just be ready for that. It's going to be a little bit longer. But again, regardless, just do what I told you. When the particles are charged into the tip of his spear, you stop seeing all the flashing, sparkling lights, and it's charged into the tip of his spear. The moment you stop seeing the particles going sparkly, 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 sparkly charge, then you Protect Melee. Doesn't matter how long the delay is, doesn't matter, okay? The animation, that's what you're recognizing here. When the animation is done, you click Protect Melee, okay? And then he's going to launch it into you. And then you turn it off, okay? Once you flick it on and it hits you, turn it off, okay? So you're going to go bink, on, off, on, off, on, off. Because if you don't take it off, he turns it off and you immediately fail. You cannot preemptively put on your prayer to parry this attack. You have to do it tick perfect, okay? But that is the tick that you do it. When the sparklies stop and the power is charged into the tip of a spear, then you're going to click Protect Melee. Okay, all the while, the little laser boxes will be spawning and like floating around the side of the arena. These are mostly ignorable. If you see a yellow line go across the front of your character where you're standing, move. If you don't move, you gon' die. Figure it out, okay? That's all I can tell you. There is no direct solution because your arena is going to be different than my arena when the lasers are on top of you. You'll see at the end, lasers can get really frisky, okay? That's probably the time that they're going to execute you if they ever are going to, okay? So let's go ahead and watch a full fight. I hope I have explained everything well to you. I will just leave you with some audio and you can watch me. I'm not going to talk unless I need to. You will see me mess up, and when I mess up, I'm going to tell you why I messed up and how we can avoid that. But otherwise, I just want you to watch, and I want you to ingest the information, okay? Figure out what I'm doing. I have Solar Flare 3, Myopia 3, we have Frailty 1, Manti Mayhem 2, and Blasphemy 3. So if we get hit, we know we're going to get our prayer chunked. But the whole time we're fighting Soul, all we have to do is throw on Piety and go for it, okay? Let's go. So it's one tile back and then one tile back diag at the beginning of every Soul fight. You know that for sure. So I ended up walking into the Solar Flare there because I was trying to show corner tech. I was thinking about the guide. But here's another thing. So, two things just happened here. One, I decided to put the poison over here, or the sun over here, because I can still use the center and I can use this other side. So I was like, you know what? Let me put it over here and like try and get the particles over here so I can use this side. Now, what happens sometimes in Sol? I want to show you here. So we put the sun down, we go back to the middle. Now, I go to the corner. By the time we're here, you need to have selected your movement. You need to just lose the ticks and move. I greed my ticks because I don't want to lose ticks. Sol will force you to lose ticks regardless of the weapon that you use. You could use an Elder Maul for all I care, a 6-tick weapon. He will force you to lose ticks, okay? Just lose them. Just move. When you know his attack is coming, you need to move. I already needed to be here. It's too late for me to move, and that's why this fight feels laggy sometimes, because I can't move from here, okay? I cannot input a movement. It's already locked in that he's swinging. My attack just went off. I can't move. You see that? You see how there was like a delay in my movement? It's gonna feel sticky sometimes. The reason that happens is because you greed ticks. I don't know if it's hard-coded into the fight, but you're going to understand immediately when that happens to you. You can't greed ticks in this fight. You need to move preemptively. It feels very strange. And if you use Colosseum, Colosseum does not have this effect on it. It's a really weird, like, I don't know what's going on under the hood, but you cannot move once he's like at a certain point in his attack animation. You're stuck there, like you're just going to hit it. You're just going to get hit. So keep that in mind. Don't greed your ticks. Just get out of the way when you know where you need to move. Just move. Don't greed your ticks. The boss will die eventually. Look at my supplies. I didn't even drink a Ceradon brew by the time I got to Sol. I have 4 prayer potions. Just move. Don't greed your hits. You have so much by the time you've gotten here. Just chill. So here's corner tech. Here's the parry. You see that? So the moment the sparkles stop and it converges into like the sun light on his spear, let's see if we can rewind. So you see all these particles, right? All these particles are going into the tip of his spear. And then you see how they stop, and then I click my protect melee. That's your timing every single time. It's that simple. Particles, done. Particles, done. You just have to be ready when the particles are done, and you'll get like a reading for it. So you saw shield 1 there, I stepped back. Otherwise, I'm doing my L move. And notice how Solar Flare doesn't really matter here. Notice how I'm operating mostly in this area, right? Because Solar Flare is here and here. So I can operate mostly here, and when I want to do my L move, I can move here. Solar Flare is going so fast that most of the time, you can basically just ignore it. Solar Flare is not that big of a deal in this fight. And even if you do tank it, you're not going to take that much damage. Just make sure you get your prayers back on, and make sure you don't move into a Solar Flare when you're trying to do the parry, okay? Very simple. Once the particles are gone, it's just parry. Check out this L move tech. But then I see the laser. I'm like, okay, well, I can't do L move. Oh, but I can, because I can move back. I could have just went to the center, right? Again, see? You see that? I greed my tick. If I don't greed my tick there, I don't get hit, but I greeded it. So look here. So we dodge this out. We dodge out of the way of this. It's fine. I greed my tick here. Look at me. I clicked my move, and I don't go. Isn't that weird? It's so weird. I don't know why this happens, but it's so strange. Very, very strange that that happens. Don't greed your ticks. Again, don't greed those ticks. Let's look. See how we're not greeting? See? Once my animation starts, I can't move. See that little bit of a delay? It is so... I can't explain it, bro. There's just this weird delay in Sol that you have to get used to, okay? All I can say to get used to it is don't greed your hits. If you greed your hits, that's when you get stuck and you can't move and you tank a bunch of damage. Remember, phase transition does not impact attack cycle, okay? Only the special attacks impact attack cycle. So if you do the move that I just did, and you move from your corner tile to the center to dodge the next attack, make sure you're still paying attention to what he was doing, okay? Otherwise, you're going to have to do a different maneuver. But I'm trying to keep Sol under control. I haven't moved since the beginning of the fight from this line. I've only used this line for 30%, okay? You don't have to move that much. Now, there I decided, let me just go ahead and move him up one. Because if I need to use my corners, if I want to put the poison on the corner tiles, then I need a free line. So I just go ahead and do that. The other benefit to this is if I use my corners here, I'm always moving into the safe tile of the Sol Flare. This one is eaten, but I don't care because I don't have Doom. I can just step into this for a tick and it's fine. If I step into this for a tick, it's going to hit me like a 6, okay? Not a big deal. I'll just move back in and I'll get my Blood Fury going. I'll get an SGS Perfect Parry, whatever I need to do. So I decided to move into this line so that I had better access to dodging the Solar Flare and I was completely safe. Here's the parry. I'll do your back. I must have missed the perfect parry window because I didn't get a max hit there. No big deal. I greeted my hit, so I get hit. Do not greed your hit. It's that simple. Now, when you need to heal, you'll notice how I was doing it. It was click a potion, click the boss, dodge the attack, click the boss, click a potion, click the boss, dodge the attack, click the boss, click a potion. Sol is a 0 damage fight if you are paying attention. Do not panic if you get hit. You can recover the HP that you lost. Greeted my hit, so I got hit. But I wanted to put the poison on that corner tile. Because I was pretty comfy in the center. So I was like, yeah, let me just poison the corner tile, no big deal. That I moved back in way too early. I don't even know why. Just panic mode, I guess. I don't know. Now remember, when he does a special attack, he resets his attack cycle. So I knew it was going to be Spear 1. After any special attack, it's just going to be a step back to solve. Alright, we're out of brew. Scary situation. We parry, we attack, we parry. And it's delayed. Remember, it's delayed because he's below 50%. But if you follow what I said, wait for the particles to charge in the tip of his spear, and then protect melee. I'm recentering myself constantly, recentering. Put the light on the corner because I knew that was coming. But now I'm in kind of a weird spot, so let me pull him up. That's exactly what I do. parry. All right, final 10% inbound. Parry. Here's final 10%. This is in range. So I go over here, move to a different corner so I can use the corner. Right, my corner is free. I know how to solve on corner. This is where the tech comes in. Shield 1 is all I need to pay attention to. Need to dodge that. Bad timing. Parry the feet. Very good. Now I just need to do that. Dodge out of these lasers. Go back in. Now, went back in a little bit early there, but it's fine. Reason being, I was never going to be chanced by him because I was at 46 HP. I took a 23. His max is a 44, I think? It's under a 46, so I was fine. But regardless, that's the end of Sol. I think the biggest takeaway for Sol, don't greed your hits. Use corner tech however you see fit. It's your choice. I think use it sparingly is better than just spamming it. And just try and have a little bit of forward thinking when you hit his thresholds as to where you're going to put your poisoned tiles that you're going to have to use, okay? Or you're going to want to not use, I guess. So you need to pick which tiles you're going to delete, because one is always going to spawn under your character model. Wherever it is when he spawns them, it's going to be under your character model, okay? That's pretty much the Kala guide. That's what I can leave you. What I'm going to do is put both of my full runs in the description as unlisted videos. So if you need more Colosseum content and you need more like wave examples and how I got to whatever I'm doing, then I'm going to put those in the description. One's going to be northwest, one's going to be southwest. I think I have the full run. If I don't, whatever. But I'm pretty sure I have the full run of both. I just need to go back in my VODs and find it. So those are in the description below. If you did make it this far, holy moly, you are a legend. You're going to get your quiver in no time. Don't worry about it. Don't even like fret about it, all right? Don't even think about it. If you watch this entire video, you want it bad enough, you're going to get it. It's just a matter of time, okay? Slow down. Take your time. Things are not as fast as they appear. Remember, the game has to operate on a tick cycle. You can think that fast, I promise. Simplify everything, and you will get there, and you will get it done. Look how long this run took. Granted, I was taking notes the whole time and like figuring things out. 40.5 minutes in this budget setup because I probably lost like 10 minutes of taking notes and doing whatever. That Sol fight was long, dude. Look at that. 5 minutes and 13 seconds for that Sol. Very long time to be fighting Sol. So keep that in mind as well. Just be ready. It's gonna be a marathon, not a sprint. So take your time, think about it, and you'll be okay. Anyways, it's been Gis. It's been a joy. This took me like 20 hours to get done. I hope you enjoyed the guide. I hope it was well put together and cohesive and not terribly long. I'm gonna try so hard to make this not terribly long. I'm so sorry. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the Inferno guide. Thanks for watching.